welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing awesome. I hope life is treating you well. Thank you guys. Let me see what all I missed. Ooh, drink water. I have a yummy drink here. And I have, but thank you, Hollow. Thank you, Michigan, for the 19 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. Hi, Crisis. Hi, Tifa. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Lady Rain, of course. And who else do we have in here? Michigan, again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, catch a Pokemon. They're gonna start early on us. And y'all feel, yeah, Tifa, you can join. You can play golf with us. So yeah. But yeah, come on in, guys. We're raising money for St. Jude's today, and we did amazing. And no pressure on anyone, because every $2 counts. We made well past my original goal, so I'm so happy and tickled that we had to expand it. And I think the next milestone is like at 750, and we're at 710. And I put down that I'll put on my KimonoKat onesie and stream in that again. But if you guys think of any more amazing milestones you would like me to add to this goal, please let me know. Because I like filled up everything between 0 and 500 because that was like my goal, and we made it. So if you have awesome ideas, let me know. Things you would like to see. I'm open to ideas. But yeah. Alright, I'm gonna switch over to these guys and we're gonna play around, and Tifa, you can join after the first round if you want. That way we're not holding up anything. Let's see. Let me grab these guys real quick and grab my game. Let's see. Grab my peoples.
So I'm glad.
Hi, peoples. We are live. Lyndon, welcome. Welcome, Lyndon. Let's see if I can hear you. I gotta turn you up a little bit. There we go. Oh, we have a new password, Lemon. I'll have to tell. Oh, you got in. Okay, good.
Thanks. Oh, I remembered it. Yeah, I remembered it from last week.
Yeah. Oh, nobody has accidentally said it out loud yet. Yeah, play one without me? Yeah.
Probably for the
And then there's a new password, Tifa, so I'll have to tell you what that is when you join. I'll have somebody in Discord DM you, because, yeah, we just have a new one, so. But yes, oh, Doggo! I see Doggo in the background with Lemon running around. Hyper as always, right?
We just went to the dog park and she has the zoomies.
Oh dear.
They're supposed to get tired when they go to the dog park. I guess it didn't work, right?
Never.
They got all revved up and pepped up instead, huh?
How old are they?
Let's see.
A little goofy smile on the back. Oh, she moved.
Wee pup.
Let's see.
Okie dokie, I'm back.
Go. Now she lays down. What a good girl.
Da-da-da.
Let's get some golf!
What happened? I looked and messaged the wrong person. It's okay. It's just Lemon. She's right here. I literally clicked on Rain's message and she had used the same filter, and it was like a dark hair one, and it was really cool. And I didn't know you could switch between dark and light. And I was like, oh, the dark one was really cool. Gotta show Momo.
I saw hers as soon as you chatted that to me. I was like, oh, that's probably what happened.
Yeah. But literally, I think I clicked on her and yours popped up, so I responded. I hate that, like when...
Oh, yeah. The thing. Ow.
There. Now I'll get it right. Goal idea 2000 reward wear kimono. We gotta make baby steps. If we make it to 1000, we'll go from there. But that's awesome, Hollow.
I'm just letting you know I'm pissing about on a different channel at the moment, so let me know when you're a game for golf. And I can
Where are
start-
y'all here? I'm gonna hit start. So.
Oh, are you?
But yeah, you're good though.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean I'm
Dash!
putting
Nico,
like, shorts and stuff.
It's Forest, it's the easy one.
That's what I need to do. I need to get myself. Kimono.
Alright.
There we go.
2K promoted to wear a kimono. Be right back. Go take Cattle Island. I mean, I can put that as the 1000 mark. I don't mind that. I don't think it needs to be 2000, although you guys are very sweet and kind-hearted.
Oh, I do.
I tried to make a high suggestion because it's a lot of channel points for the kimono. Yeah, I understand. I appreciate that.
You're going insane, dude.
Dude, how did I mess that up?
Oh, fuck.
I messed it up. I didn't get the hole in one.
Didn't either. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it. Oh, just as well because I missed the last one.
Got par at least.
Alright, so that one's done. That one's done. Thanks for the retweet, guys. Thanks. And the likes.
There's normally music on this.
I have yet to see Mono in a kimono. Really? How have you missed those
Yeah, but I don't listen
streams?
to it.
Oh, okay.
I turn it off.
It's distracting.
I've done those streams before. I'm
Well,
surprised you
now-
missed those, Hollow. You must have been working. But sadly, I'm about to walk into work. I have a wonderful stream and have fun, everyone. Alright. Well, maybe I'll adjust that and put it for the 1000 if you guys want.
Yeah.
Since I'm definitely open to ideas of helping you get to work. Let's see. I got it open so I can just add stuff while we hang out and play games, so.
Cool.
Milestones, added.
Hey, Dreams, you missed it.
What are you doing,
Okay.
okay?
You were slow.
Sorry.
Let's
I got
see.
there. I'm in it.
Oh, this one's
Uh,
And I refresh
someone hit
that.
me.
There we go. So I added that one.
Michigan, you missed me.
Free.
Rose, you went too slow, so now you didn't hit me.
Sorry.
I
Oh.
trying to go in there
Oh,
and slam it,
Mono.
but my goodness.
Oh, Mono, you missed me too. Damn it.
No!
I would have hit you if I
I'm not
could.
sure how I could
Not
have
over
hit
here.
you at that angle and make it work. Oh, you're smacking people around.
Uh,
Ah, I hit somebody.
Oh crap.
I think they may have adjusted the ramp on this one. Oh, that's too soft.
Oh.
Oh, that was close though. Oh, well.
So what are you up to, Turtle Dash?
Double bogey.
Do you have something yummy for dinner today? What did y'all have?
I
What did you
didn't
eat today?
have dinner yet.
You didn't have food yet? Nick Dothy, thank you for the lurk.
I got
I had
that whole
fish and
full
chips.
Mm.
Oops.
I got a hole in one somehow. Nice. Thank you, Nick Dothy. Thank you for the like, man.
Lady made it in with a fucking bump.
No, I didn't.
Oh, did you not?
Oh,
That's
come
not
on.
yet.
No, I moved myself.
Same.
Well,
Oh wow, that's quite a drop.
motherfucker.
Ah!
Too hard.
Really?
Yes, really.
Oh!
You just Colby, or not Colby, but like,
Did you get a hole in one? Did you get a
Nice.
swoosh?
Oh, I had nothing but netted
Yeah,
it.
yeah, there it is. I couldn't
Nice.
say it.
Swoosh.
I'm flopping.
Well, you could have said Colby and then it went in. I don't know.
That's basically what
This
happened.
is just their warm-up round, Dreams. You're good, you're good. I through the hole. I think I gave that a little bit too much heat.
Just a little bit soft.
Flip it. Wrong one.
Oh, mother bitch. Oh, not me.
Oh, come on. No.
Jono, did you see that there's new maps out for this?
Is there more new maps again?
There's new
Yeah,
maps already.
KimonoKat is cooking.
Wait. I didn't notice.
Let's see.
To the best of my knowledge, there's new maps out.
No, there isn't.
I thought there was. Like, I literally
No.
just looked at it the other day.
It might have just been new skins. They do new
It's the new
skins a lot.
skin.
Like the new skin I have on.
Pack. Yeah,
I tried to set you on the track, Rose. I tried to push you into the hole. And I
Thank you.
failed.
I misaimed.
I'd tell you what, maybe.
Eagles all day.
Mini golf for the. I could walk about mini golf for the.
Sounds like you're having fun over there.
New maps for that, so I don't know if
Oh,
maybe give
motherfucker.
That could very well be.
It sounds like you're having fun,
Picking up a different
McDoggy.
game.
Yeah.
I all of a sudden want spaghetti. Maybe I'll make that tomorrow.
I'm not hungry, but that sounds really good.
Bag ball?
Anyway.
Fuck that.
Mhm. I might make
Oh, I can
homemade
never get the
meatballs
double
for
jump.
it. Homemade meatballs and spaghetti. If I actually don't sleep all day. I was gonna make it today, but I slept all day. Pretty much. And I'm still tired. I think it's the weather. It's killing my head.
I think
That and just complete exhaustion from the week. I
I
woke up for like a few hours and then went back to bed. And
I had to take paracetamol today because the fucking heat is just getting to me. I don't know if anyone else gets that, but it does me for sure.
Hello.
ah, welcome! Ah! How hot was it there for you, Dreams? I'm sure your hot is like chilly to me.
What?
My heart is what, 20 degrees Celsius?
What is that here?
Yeah.
That's my
That's
heart.
What is that in freedom units?
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't
know.
use Kami.
Oh, no.
Yeah, God
don't know.
forbid we align
Someone
with the
look-
rest of the world.
Somebody have to pull up a converter because I don't
Oh my
know.
God. But 20 degrees Celsius tomorrow is going to be, what, 22?
I'm guessing
is
that's like
fucking-
not even 80 degrees.
It's high for us, man. Really high. Like, fucking shorts and t-shirt, taps off kind of material.
26. I bet it's like 75 or something.
What is it? I'll hold on 2 seconds. I'll check it.
Everybody's gonna be blocked in a corner. I'm gonna hold Michigan here
Look
so
it
he
up.
can't go. You're not allowed in Michigan.
Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we're at what? Let's say 20. 68 Fahrenheit.
68. That's chilly. That's to wear a little jacket weather.
That's chilly. Fuck off.
No,
I'm
it's what most people
Sweater
prefer
weather.
around here.
I'm
Yeah.
rocking up fucking shorts and t-shirt, taps off
That's what-
kind of material.
You could definitely wear shorts and a little pullover jacket if you're in Florida at that time.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck you
Just a
mean
little
pullover jacket?
hoodie. Just a little hoodie.
No.
That's hoodie weather.
Is it fuck? That's
Yeah,
fucking.
it's
Yeah.
cold weather here in the US.
No! I was looking out the front earlier.
I mean, that's what we keep our AC on at night when we go to sleep.
Fuck off!
That's cold sleeping weather.
No fucking shot!
You put it any colder than that, you have to pay lots of money.
I was looking out the back airline today and all the fucking pyramid are sitting there wearing shorts and t-shirt.
Damn.
You would melt in Florida right now. We hit 95. Do the converter on that.
Fuck that.
Nah.
It would
You
just
can
come
keep
back
that.
saying hot.
Like, I'm here, if it's 68, I'm game. Just a shot off of 69, so I'll take it.
I was about to say, if it's 69 outside.
Yeah. Yeah, do the converter on 95 and see what you get, man. Let's see what you get, Dreams.
Hold on. At 95?
Yeah, we hit 95 this week, so.
95 Fahrenheit.
Has yet to reach that here, but we have got.
Oh, fuck no! Hell
Yeah.
no!
Mostly we've been like 85, but we've hit 95 a couple days.
The human body is at fucking 32.
Oh yeah, we go way above the human body temperature outside.
Oh, pass. Hard pass. Hard pass. That's an uncomfortable hot.
Just don't go to Arizona in the desert where it's like 114 during the day.
Look,
Do
I'll
the-
take that dry heat over any of the fucking humid heat with that same temp.
Well,
I can't. I literally turn into like SpongeBob out of water.
that might also be the thing, right? Because
Like
see,
my
our hot
skin
here,
is so
like,
used to
we
the
get
Florida humidity. I turn into
get no
SpongeBob out of
fucking-
water.
Our heat over here is very, like, there's no humidity, it's hot. You know what I mean? It's dry as fuck. That's how hot it is. But
Hi,
your heat
Zane!
might- your heat
Welcome!
over there for fucking, what, 48 or 62 or whatever might be a bit more kind of gusty.
It's wet. It's damp.
Yeah, it's not for us. It's fucking dry, like bone. At least it seems it. You know what just needs to happen? I need to myself to fucking States. Oh, not again.
Hey,
Shit.
how are you tonight? I'm doing good. Venus, how are you? I
Oh.
hope you're doing awesome. Just playing some golf.
How you
and
guys
hanging
doing
out
on
with
your
me.
match?
We are on what hole are we on?
So
We're almost
we're
there.
on
17. We got one more hole.
17 already? Wow.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah.
to last hole.
So if you're ready and at the next hole, after the next hole, you can jump in and can
I hate
Rain, can
this
you
hole.
DM Tifa the password?
Fucking hate this hole.
So we don't
Where
say
does-
it out
where do
loud.
all yous go? All yous go. Where do
I already
go?
kind of know what it is. I'm not going to say it out loud
No. We changed
It's
it.
a new one.
though. Oh, it's a new one now.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
had.
had to change it. People were listening to stream
got
and
it.
heard people say it.
Oh.
It's overshooting me for some reason.
Ah, thank you, Rain.
I don't.
But
I
it's
can't,
Rain,
Feeling
you
it,
try out
dude?
that
I can't
new
even get.
protein shakes too.
Can we?
Oh, did
I'm
you?
great. I'm glad to hear
Oh.
you're doing great.
Yeah, so I got the no nut butter.
Oh,
cup.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow.
That's like.
Cheers.
And then I,
See.
and I got vanilla.
Hey.
Trying to
Drink,
get
I got
all
the
this
OWYN. I think it's called Owen.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah, it's really good.
no.
Hey.
I was nervous. I only got one flavor this time, so
Yeah, it's always good to start with like a single flavor and then go from
I
there.
tried.
yeah, it was
Bros,
delicious.
Hey.
I tried.
So
I appreciate
hold on.
it.
I'm gonna try to get the password
Blocked
so I can
you.
not say it out loud.
Somehow.
Sorry.
No, I blocked
Yeah,
you
it's okay.
somehow.
Lost my lead.
I went in.
Oh no, I got in.
You got hit by a
Really?
truck? Oh no, Shane.
I feel that too.
I kind of do as well. I think it's the weather though. I just wanted to sleep
I
all
feel
night.
okay.
We're supposed to be getting storms later this week. Into the
There's a what's it called? What's it called? A solar storm watch right
Well-
now.
Oh really?
And
How
anywhere
Gee.
north of Alabama might be able to see the northern lights tonight.
Tea in Ireland is getting no.
Yeah.
That would be so
He's
cool.
able to see 'em in
Well,
Ireland.
I will go outside and see.
I would be able to see them, I think, if I
Rose,
was
if you get to
like
see them, you gotta take
have
pictures.
less light, yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't have so much
Well,
light.
It's not like, you
Oh,
know,
that's
like
no
it would
way.
be if I was in ice.
Right.
So,
But,
question:
yeah.
This passcode is this
Work was
case
hellish.
sensitive?
No, Shane.
No, it is not.
So it's not all capitalized. Okay, so it's all lowercase. I want to make
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yep, I sent it to you as it is.
Just want to make sure.
Don't forget to click instead of hitting
This
enter.
is starting to become more frequent. No, is it just like summertime craziness, or just lack of employees, or what do you think it is, Shane? And how can it be helped?
So is this your summertime right now at like fucking 32 degrees? Or sorry, 35
Oh,
degrees
no.
or whatever it was.
We're getting into
spring.
summer.
Or 95.
Yeah, it's starting to be summer.
Mate.
Okay, we finished. If anybody wants to join.
We've got
That's
like
all that.
maybe about
And
another
then-
week of summer and then it'll just be torrential rain thereafter.
Don't worry. I make sure my.
You only
stream
have
is
another
back
week
to
of
itself.
summer.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so bad.
This summer.
It's just, do you know what I noticed? I was off for a week, and then I went back for a week. And the week that I went back,
I'm not
it was
sure.
raining. Then I was off for a week, scorching sunshine. And I bet you I go back for 1 week and it starts raining again. And then I'll be off for a week and it'll be fucking sunshine.
Of course, that's the way it
genuinely-
works.
I don't know how that shit
I
happens,
mean,
but
That's
mean,
Florida too.
I mean, I think I'm cursed. I won't lie to you. Like, I
It
think
rains here
Florida-
nonstop, and it's definitely cold when you take a week off or raining.
If I'm working in it sunshine, like the boys have just recently told me that, oh mate, like we're finishing at 2 o'clock every day because it's just.
It sounds like y'all are
like,
super busy, Shane.
It's just like there's nothing to do. And
I'm
also
always-
You might join the next go around. Sweet. Okay. Well, we're gonna do Candyland, and we're gonna get started if everybody's ready. And then,
Out there.
Tifa, do you have anybody
I'm
else you want
always
to
super
join?
busy every weekday, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Depends on my work.
Yeah, I feel it.
I hear a kitty.
What are you eating, Shane? We were sharing meals. What we were eating earlier. I'm hungry, always.
Ouch!
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work out well.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, fuck.
Leftover pizza?
No.
Mmm, pizza, pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza. Woo!
Tifa,
Somebody hit me.
What'd you have to eat today, Tifa?
It was like steak kebabs and potatoes. That was it, and some pretzels.
Ooh.
I meant to turn off the
Kebabs on
dice
the
and I
grill.
forgot again. Sounds good though. Sounds really good.
Well, I'm still trying to go on a diet. I have in 2 months already. I have lost 30 pounds.
Wow. That seems really fast too. I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I've been
Okay.
going up and down lately now, so it's not really like it's going down
Okay.
so
As
fast.
long as you're getting lots of protein and veggies.
Oh yeah.
Like steak kebabs and veggies is good, so
Yeah,
please,
it's a-
please take care.
It's a short amount of time, dreams, but it's depending on how the diet is and whatnot. It's a healthy loss.
I've been drinking a lot of sparkling water.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
good.
help too.
Yeah, staying hydrated is the.
And
is
it might
the
just be
key
that you-
thing.
You just have a drastic diet change for the healthy
2
versus
months.
non-healthy, you know?
Lost 30 pounds.
Yeah,
It's like what, like 2 stone or 3 stone or something? I don't know.
It's 14 pounds per stone.
Yeah.
So 2 stone.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, 2 stone. Yeah.
Someone hit
That's
me
a
up
lot.
there.
1.8.
Is it bad that I knew that was 2 stone? I know.
I
Gotcha.
hope
It's
they're
2
not
stones.
Heavy. I
Rule.
hope they're not 2 stoned.
I still think it's so crazy that they measure in stones like cavemen. But I can see dreams measuring in stones.
You
You just referred to me as a caveman.
Yeah.
This is why we moved over to America.
I mean,
Me-
I get that I've got some kind of archaic fucking look about me, but not.
No, you're not. You're definitely not a caveman. It's just
I
funny.
just start- I think I might just start referring to myself in stone because I'm only 16 stones.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it
That's
nicer
a
to do that?
smaller number than what I actually am.
You can just take a stone out of your pocket and you lose weight. Just by that.
Yeah.
I actually had pizza today at work today. One of our housekeepers actually brought pizza for us today for Nurses Week, and my manager brought a bunch of cupcakes. Ooh. So you had pizza.
We
And
have
cupcakes.
two jokes for those that are kind of trying to lose weight because obviously our measurements are like pounds and stone. Pounds and stone. So if someone's like, "Oh, I just lost 3 pounds," like, "What, from your pocket?" Because they've just spilled like.
Oh yeah.
And if you just lost 2 stone, then it's like, "Oh well, what, from your pocket?" Because some cunt goes and collects fucking.
That's
stones
cool.
from the beach. So whenever someone refers to them just losing themselves weight, it's like, "Oh yeah, it must be from your pocket."
They lost money or little pebbles from their pocket.
They
Beach pebbles.
they don't look like they've lost weight, so therefore it's just like, "Oh, it must be just from your fucking pocket then."
I think that's cool.
What are we waiting on?
Yeah, fucking.
Oh, there it goes.
If you've
Just a
lost
heads up, I
50
keep
pounds,
freezing, so if I get kicked,
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay.
if you've lost 30 pounds in 2 months, that's a stone a month.
Mhm.
That's fucking a lot per month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you can lose like 10 right off the start, but then after that it's like hell trying to lose weight.
Water weight,
Yeah.
Like that water retention and stuff like that coming away. But I mean, what's your deficit? What's your fucking caloric deficit in order to be doing that?
So you eating like a 2,000 calorie diet?
So
I really don't know. I just cut down on the food. That's all I did.
Cut down on the
what-
food and eat
Yeah,
veggies.
so then you probably did cut down on calories. It's just not something that you're counting. And it's probably better you don't count the calories.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if you're fucking doing something that works for you, focusing on the little details is going to amplify, "Oh shit, I've lost this, and I've not done this, and I'm not eating that," and it's just going to amplify, but it's just...
I've never liked counting the calories and stuff just because that,
Same.
like, it's too much to go through.
Counting
You
calories,
need to lose a few.
counting calories is probably
How
the
do you have
best
too
way
much
to
to
go,
burn them?
because you're not focusing on all the stupid shit like the macros and whatever else.
Well, that's also the problem is if you keep counting calories, you get too focused on the amount of calories that you're
Just
taking.
like I figure out how to play
That's
this
why I
now.
don't necessarily like
yep,
that
and
method
that's
either.
the shortest route to eating disorders.
Yeah.
Hole in one. Go fuck
Same.
yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'd rather 100% count calories than count macros all day long. But anyway, I'm not going to get into this conversation. I think that you've lost weight. Congratulations. All the more for you too.
Yeah,
all the
congrats.
all the
That's
best for you.
awesome.
Yeah, whatever works for you works for you.
Definitely happy for you.
I've been cutting down a lot, and I've been like trying to cut. I've been trying to cut out starch. I'm still having starch here and there, but like not as much as before.
So
That's good.
I'm kind of...
But some carbs is good.
I fucked up.
Carbs is good, but
Some are, yeah.
just watch how much goes into sugar.
2 1/4 cup.
Yeah.
You know, because there's that kind of starch, there's that kind of carb to sugar.
There we
and
go.
sugar
Oh hey,
stuff.
Kimono.
I said that.
Yeah, no, I've been watching everything. So
I'm genuinely proud
So
of
did
you.
it kick you out completely, Rose?
I think it did.
No.
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I blame the internet.
I went from one
I
side
blame,
to shut up the other
for-
side, and
I
now
don't
ended
know
up
why
still
that's-
here.
It sounds like I don't know if there's any background cleaning can be done on the PC to help free up background activities. things like
Probably.
that,
I mean,
but-
I have Thor's old computer, so
Yeah.
Mm,
Do you know, I went to go up the left side, overpowered it, caught the treadmill on the
Good
right
job.
hand side, got shot up the next treadmill to the middle point, and then still somehow ended up where Michigan is in my second shot. What the fuck?
I have no idea how you managed that.
So
No
I've been
idea. I
playing-
really don't want to know.
Game
don't
that
wanna know,
no
because
one
The more I know.
here has heard of.
Drug test.
Oh. A new game or just a game we haven't heard of?
Nugan.
Let's see.
Hole in one.
Yeah, I got one.
Fucking yes.
If you literally pull Yeeted at the Green Jolly Rancher, you should be able to get a
Oh, yeah.
hole in one.
No! Stay out of there!
One and a half yeets. 1.5 yeets.
I don't know what just happened, but I think I'm gonna get stuck on the mudslide.
Dreams.
Oh dear.
Dreams. The way I did it, I did a full yeet at the Green Jolly Rancher.
Oh, wow.
I ended up in hole in one.
It's called
Yeah.
What?
Ballad for a
Apart from
Bloodline.
the
It's
bolt?
a
I just went
Zelda
straightforward.
fan game. Oh, that's cool.
Not
You
much.
just
I
defeated
got
the
on
4
the
bosses.
poop
Nice.
slide.
Fourth
Maybe.
boss.
I went on the poop slide, and it was 1.5 yeets.
Yeah, I just full yeeted at the Green Jolly Rancher and it tossed me back to the poop slide.
Let's see.
I went 1.5 yeets to the far end tree trunk thing,
No, it's not gonna tell me.
and it
That's
got
too
me up there.
complicated
Help
for me.
catch.
Alright,
I went straight for the slide.
do we go full yeet? Maybe 3 and a
No,
bit?
don't
No.
full yeet.
3 and a quarter?
No.
3 and a half?
Let's do what I do and just
I
win.
don't
Like
remember what
3 and
Oh, that's not it.
to the
That's not
right.
it. Full yeet, and we go that way.
No!
There you go.
Saved it.
I'm already in the
Off your
losses.
weak. Let's
Oh,
go.
there's a room job.
That was a nice arm job.
I wasn't trying for it, but hey, that worked.
Oh look, it's a crisis.
No one caught it.
Don't made par. Did you say melancholy?
Meow.
Two to the
No.
right.
I'm gonna line up a
Thank
little
you,
better.
Rolly, son.
Let me get out of it then.
And ah! Come on, get up there. Oh, dang it.
Should have been a bit harder.
I was first, crisis. I was
I've
here first.
been here, scrub. She yelled at me.
There it is. Takes me a while to remember that amount.
Welcome, Crisis. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good.
Well, like this one.
There you go, on one.
Oh, fuck.
Felix! Oh my
no,
gosh! How are
I
you
wasn't
doing?
No, I didn't go hard enough.
Welcome, Stranger Danger.
That's fucking twice I've rimmed it.
Stranger Danger Noodle.
Woo!
Ah.
Let's
Oh, hey, Rain.
see.
Hi.
Aw. Stuck at
Hi.
work. No! Please kidnap me. You're ill. You gotta leave.
You had a family emergency.
Yeah,
your
family
online
emergency.
family needs you.
Yeah, you're needed in golf.
Nobody hit me, please.
You have Subway though?
I'm in the
Ooh,
middle of
Subway
one.
sounds yummy. We were talking about what kind of foods everybody asks.
I got one of them wee flappy things.
Oh,
Oh, you were talking about what?
That's
Who's
flapping
food?
things.
What's food?
Did
Good
I help
food.
Michigan? Oh damn, I didn't. Here, let me try again.
What was
Oh,
it?
that
I'm
didn't help you
literally
either.
struggling.
Come save. Commence save. Felix from work is now greenlit. There you go.
Man, I'm just so
Let's see.
tired.
Me too.
I'm surprised he sunk that. Looked a little hard.
Come on, fucking jump.
Yeah. See.
I had to jump over the ball.
I'll take 2
sorry
shots.
guys, I'm a bit busy right now, so give me a minute.
No worries.
You take your time. Ain't no rush.
No, there's a rush.
Enter the White House.
Well, there's a
Minute
minute and 50.
Okay, cool.
What you need?
Alright.
Okay.
No, I was just reading one of my
Please.
emails. Yeet! Woo! Oh shit!
GTV Jifa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
But
Don't wear it out. Don't wear out my name.
Too late.
Oh hey, that worked.
Just normally a Call of Duty streamer slash.
I am.
Yeah, but it's
No
more of a.
69s yet.
I don't know how best to explain it. It's just more of a like a.
Oh,
Like
I
you're a
think I got
bitch.
bumped.
No,
I gotta wait for Michigan.
it's what do you call them?
No, I didn't jump right. No.
Alright, where's the hole? That way. Okay.
Oh no.
Woo! Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about the hole.
Yeah. We want in the water.
That's a bad
Yeah.
deflection.
Alright, I'm gonna try this. Fuck!
That's the wrong hole.
Yeah, I know that.
That's what she said.
Now you feel my pain.
Damn it!
Oh wow.
Went too
that's
hard.
bad.
The funny part is Kimono's doing a charity and I'm doing a charity, but we're doing a different charity.
Yo.
She's doing St. Jude, I'm doing Stack Up.
I unfortunately have no
Man,
more
that was
hundreds to give
bad.
out.
Start working
I
that
don't
pole again.
have anything.
Oh, only 1 point in it, Kimono.
Mhm.
1
I don't know
point
what
in
you're talking about.
it. 1 point in it.
I don't know what you're talking about. What? Roll 2 bar.
I know, I did too. Everybody
I
kinda
don't know
did.
why not.
Sorry,
Uh,
Tank.
What the fuck? Get back on. Get on. There we go.
jump! Jump!
Do you know
There
that
we go.
actually worked out?
Whew,
That
I
worked
saved
out
that
alright.
somehow.
It did?
Oh, that was too much.
No!
That was almost a fucking swoosh.
Ugh. Ah.
That hole caught it.
I hit Tank again!
No, no crisis. I fucking hate them. I hate them so much.
What do you hate?
Tornadoes.
Oh. Jeez,
Oh, yeah.
No fun. At all.
I would take blueberries as the
We're talking
alternative.
It is
half
Midwestern
minute tea.
behavior.
2.5.
That reminds me, I need to
Oh.
save some phone numbers. No, not add to existing.
Crisis was born with ruby red slippers.
Born Ohioan who lives in Kansas. It's not fun.
Aren't you reading Yoga Ball? Alright, what color? Red or silver? You gotta pick.
So 1 point, Kimono.
By the way, is the
I don't know what
place-
you're talking about. Whoa, I hit that really hot. I thought I was gonna mess up. I thought I was gonna jump out of these candy cane thingamajigs for sure. I was going so fast.
Sorry, drinking sparkling water.
Let's see.
Oh my god, we're all
See.
hugging over here.
Yeah,
Really, I've got a clean shot.
yeah, go for it, Tank.
One,
first, Ranger,
two,
behind me.
Got a
three, four.
No! No!
No! Yeah, James is gonna win.
That's fine.
Oh, I
Venus.
Don't roll, don't roll, don't roll.
That should be okay.
Don't roll. Don't roll. Oh, okay.
Stop! 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 Okay, good.
Done. Done.
June did.
Go,
it.
Tippa.
Done.
What was that?
That was a really
20?
bad.
Thank you so much for the 20 biddies, and thank you for the large
200.
Felix. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, 200. Yes, I can't number today. I can't think today. You're free. What is? Oh yeah, and we gotta do the thing. Now that I think that was the last call. I think we did the other one.
It was, yeah.
Oh well.
And
Anybody
then,
get 69?
I should have
Oh!
went for 69.
oh yeah, you just needed 2 more points and you would have won. I mean, technically you did win,
I
but
pulled it back.
4.
What can I say?
that's our game rules.
I was gonna say, you both got 49. Ooh, I
Let's
got a
see.
unicorn.
I should have calculated that, but I was.
Alright. And then, I customize myself.
Sprinkle.
Well, I'm gonna go get a beer, bathroom.
Yeah, break if y'all need a break.
Mhm.
What hat do I want? I want to go back to the monster.
Numbers are hard, Felix.
What are you drinking
They
tonight?
are very. And then
Who's drinking tonight?
that
Not
is.
me.
I've got a little bit of a Caddyshack here, but it's not much in the way of alcohol.
What are you drinking?
And alright,
Like
yoga
in
ball.
water.
Lemon drop.
But
Oh.
what did you
The
say,
raspberry lemon drop.
Raspberry?
Princess? Venus?
Did you ever see the well, I seen the clip. anyway.
If it's AI stuff, we typically leave the AI stuff in the AI channel. But yeah, you can do it just this one time. If you keep posting the other ones in the other thing. I'm sorry I haven't been posting in there. I really need to post more on that channel too. That more people go to it. But yeah, just one time. Alright,
There
yeah.
was a
Yoga
YouTuber,
ball.
I
And
think
did
it
he
was-
say which color? Firestorm didn't say which color, so I'm just gonna pick one.
Mm-mm.
There was a girl outside and she just drank tequila, and she was like, you know, fucking hell, I can't remember the caption, but it's like, you know, she's like a fucking crazy chick when she's outside spewing up, not realizing it was tequila, and basically the point being is that she drank tequila, and she's like, I thought it was a lemon
Can
drop.
someone send
She was about to
me the
say-
code, please?
I don't know if
Somebody
that's the
DM Shane the password.
same.
I haven't seen it.
Second
Felix!
to know
No,
we
I
are
DM'd you
live.
something.
Welcome.
Just so you know.
Lemon
Shane,
drop.
there's Shane.
And what was I doing now? I don't even know.
There you go.
I
Hello,
DM'd you
Ginger.
something, Kimono.
Let me know when you're starting back up because I'm
I
watching.
sent Shane the code.
Listening to
That's
YouTube music.
cool!
That's mine!
Nice. That looks like fun.
Yeah. Bike is still being put together. That's not, that is 2024. I'm gonna be getting a 2023 fresh out of the box.
Nice. That's cool.
I'm talking about a motorcycle because I sent a Kimono picture of my motorcycle. Well, it's gonna be the same thing. It's just gonna have white rims on it, not silver right now.
Let's see, and oh, your picture looks cool. I do like AI mirror. I just don't use it that much.
Let me know when you're back up.
What do you mean back up?
I'm back down.
What about back left?
No, I'm actually right, but yeah.
Let me know when you're back playing games or starting again.
Let me know if you're.
I've got
Oh,
my
we're
ears.
about to hit start. Is everybody here? Everybody
My
ready?
ears, that's all.
I'm ready.
I ready.
Okay, we'll hit start then.
No, Shane.
No, Shane's in there.
Damn
Yeah,
it.
welcome. Now you gotta behave.
I'm too tired to misbehave today.
Sorry.
We'll see if I
Okay.
get a second win soon.
And then say
Ooh, bounce
up?
pass
What's up?
nothing I can do about the saturated eyes as mirror oversaturates the color of your original pictures. That is true. It's okay. Drink water. I did that one. I did the yoga ball. Completing all those. So I can keep track of what I did and didn't do.
Have I?
You've
One,
played
yeah.
this?
Once, maybe.
No, you've
That's
played it a few
yes.
times.
Can't recall. I remember playing it once.
That's because you were
Now I'm a musical slime beast. Alright, my ball is a slime. I have a, tentacle guy on my head, and
Slimy ball.
yeah.
Tentacle.
You can see the other people through my body. Look, that's so weird. You can see my slimy body encoding everyone.
Oh!
This is a PG channel.
My ass.
I didn't say anything. You guys are just bad.
Encounters of the
Oh,
KimonoKat.
some of the filters are so terrible.
Oh, come
really
on,
do not
Paul.
even show respect to the original picture. Yearbook filter being an example. Oh, yeah. So I guess it's probably just to change it completely anyway. Customer walked in. Sorry to poop like that. No worries. Well, Comfy appears. Pokecatch, guys. If you're Pokecatching Pokemon, Comfy is the purple flower one. Probably up on the screen. I just can't see it. I can't see it because the screen's covered up.
Man, I hate how that's not sunk.
No! I messed that up. No, well.
Where you going? Back to the start.
I'm scared that that's gonna get
Yeah, he
me.
just wanted to go back to the start. That's all he wanted
Ah,
to do.
so
I was
close.
so gonna say something really bad. Yeah.
One day I'll figure out how to angle that bounce right into the hole, but I can't. I don't play cool enough.
I can't make it back onto the course if I use the water. For whatever reason.
It does not to Kimono in order to receive service.
No!
You would.
I has secret path.
I tried to find follow you, but then I crashed.
I fudged up.
Goth, Egyptian, Pharaoh, Biohazard, and Anime 2 filters
got
are
it.
the best ones.
No, what the fuck? How did I manage that?
Comfy has been caught by Felix. Felix, how did you
No.
catch it?
No,
I
Dream
did
was
it.
supposed to hit me so I can get in.
I can't. I'm in front of you.
Oh shit.
Oh no! I messed that up.
That's a lot more than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh.
Oh, well, that's a lot less than what it needs to be.
So it's
Got it.
not that much eat.
That was the best room
It's
ever.
like
What
maybe.
the
What
fuck?
the fuck is it? It's like maybe what 3 eats? 3 eats. 3 eats. will do it.
Leads toward the center.
How many is it? 3? 2? 2.5?
4.
Oh,
No.
3. 3.
Three straight toward the flag.
You'll do it.
true.
3. Okay.
Don't do 4th one, I'm just kidding.
2, 4. I was like, wait, no, you're sabotaging me. There's no way.
I'll give you guidelines, don't you worry. To my detriment, I'll give you guidelines.
Woohoo!
Oh fuck.
I used to be good at this one, and then I don't.
So you watch the wrong one.
I don't know what interval to do the
Well,
I think you gotta watch the
click
first
on
one.
bridge in the gap then.
Oh no, you gotta watch the last one.
Dang it, how did it get sent back here?
Ah,
Very carefully.
I know.
great determination.
Not where I belong.
Oh, that's just set me right up. Full yeet.
I just want the
Right over. Right over. That's enough.
I am messing this up real good.
I purposely went left so I wouldn't
Oh my god, I can't fucking see!
play Shane there.
Get some glasses.
I was behind- there was a wall behind me, I couldn't fucking see.
Whee! I don't know.
Oh man,
Did
that,
not
yeah,
take
that-
me anywhere.
I'll be honest with you,
I'm
that
just gonna
bogey
get
was
it in.
sketch. Full yeet.
Get it in.
Mono,
straight.
full yeet.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
You'll
over
hit off-
KimonoKat
You'll hit off the back and then you just rim it in.
Ugh,
There you go.
I was a little bit off on angle and not enough
I think you
beats.
could have gotten it in one
They
shot.
can always donate $5 to a good cause. Call Kimono's wallet. No! Say Jude. Do say Jude. Don't need me. A holiday
yeah.
theme filter,
Can we go
also
over that?
called Horror Nights,
Sure we
was
can go over that.
released.
Sure we
They
can.
took my looks
Try.
and made them look like a video game had
Round.
graphical glitches. Oh no. Someone just gets snuck up on by a wall, or is that what I heard?
Yeah, that's what happens. The wall, you know, the walls just sneak up on you and you
Yeah.
end up running into them. It's
And then you
kind of
can't
Yeah,
see
never
anything.
Yeah.
Don't get crushed.
That the floor sneaks up on you too.
Yeah, it's never your
Mhm.
fault, yeah, like I said.
Yeah.
Looks like
I'm
your feet.
perfect, so.
They just
Yo.
walk, it just barges into you.
Yeah.
The floor likes beans.
I mean, I love holding the bars up because they tend to wobble.
You may have some problems with golf.
I mean,
I mean, I blame
have
golf.
problems.
Oh yeah.
Not hard
Stop you,
enough.
stop you.
How did you do that?
Don't live with me for a while, so you know I have problems.
Who went to the left and did that?
Your
No,
fault,
also-
Dream, not mine.
Look.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's my call. I'm saying that it's
Pew.
I'm saying it's about
Pew.
just over
Let's
2.5
go.
each. Okay, let me test.
Let's
Let me
go.
test
Picture
it.
on Hive, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm already in the hole.
If
Oh
we
yeah.
didn't have
Oh,
problems,
it's
it wouldn't
definitely
be funny.
2.5.
True.
Definitely 2.5.
Done
Thanks.
cheated.
And then somebody hit me. That's okay, because it
I
gave
got
me a
it now.
better
I did.
position.
I-
Except for I messed up my jump. I gave it too much heat.
Fucking
You keep forgetting
trigonometry.
Hive exists.
There it is.
Well,
Trigonometry.
Nope.
you
Nope.
guys will eat it like as soon as
You
the
got it.
first thing goes down.
I'm literally playing
Need to get
fucking
closer.
bogey golf right here.
Delete. Nope. Wrong direction. I don't know what you hit.
It,
That was
You
weird.
gotta do it when-
punching bags.
Yeah.
You gotta do it when the lipstick goes down.
No, they're punching bags, so you can punch them.
I thought it was lipstick.
No.
I've done
it's
this
probably
before
not
from
easy.
the starting position, but
It looks like a
Not recently.
dog's something.
Oh no.
Oh
no,
my
no, no.
god.
Well, no.
Michigan.
Not on sidewalls.
I said something.
you know what? I'm just going the normal way.
Now.
because Too many strokes.
I mean, sometimes you definitely want more strokes.
That's the lady on
Yeah,
the
'cause
same
you want
path as mine.
Yeah.
Because you want to get 69.
That's one way to get it, I guess.
Let's see.
2014.
Sometimes not the direct route is the best route.
I'll catch up.
Let's go. We're gonna go 2 and a third. 2 and a third each. 2 and a third each.
So close.
Slightly to the right. Compensating for the wheel.
You don't need to compensate for it.
Oh, I did.
They don't compensate.
He's a man, of course he has to compensate.
Compensate for direction. How do you call that?
What was the trick to this one again, Michigan?
Straight up.
Mission, I don't know.
Straight
hit
up.
it and hope.
Straight up. 2 and a bit each.
No, there was
Straight up.
straight
I
up.
did get a hole in one a long time
Two?
ago.
Jump
I
in
know.
that belt.
straight up and two.
Really close to
Straight
getting
up.
all
2 and a
of
bit.
them.
2 and a bit.
Two and a bit. Okay.
Jump the belt in the process.
Straight up. 2 and a bit.
Ah,
Don't
a
listen.
little bit too much.
Well, too much is always bad. I'm just gonna quiet.
You're all, no!
No, we
Oh,
have,
that was too much.
we have to get dirty.
That was only two!
Because dreams lied to you.
I
I
didn't.
don't know.
I gave my honest opinion. That's what I thought.
No, you lied to Flint. Because
Answer
Flint
this.
thought it was marbles.
No,
I am failing at this.
points That I wasn't entirely sure whether it was marbles.
I
or-
literally
Okay,
There we
so
go.
it's less than two for
And
me.
I had mentioned to him before leaving, oh, well, golf's up.
Splits, can I
Yeah,
do?
well,
Come on,
he
y'all
doesn't
ping
pay
me for the next
attention
round?
to the
Yeah,
other.
join. We're on hole 9. We're almost
He's
there.
also an adult and can fucking
we're
see
halfway
people
there.
play.
This one.
Almost there. Splits wants us to ping us. Ping
I
him.
think we're
so he
living
can
on a
join.
prayer.
Fucking holy noodle, cunts!
You know what? I'll
You
ban
need to
you.
drink every freaking drink there is.
Pew. I thought we did not line up correctly.
No, what happened was
Oh,
I,
my ears are
oh,
fine.
he did it, and then I got whacked by one of those punching things. And
Oh.
yeah.
Enjoy the quietness, guys. I swear.
Not right.
Go. He's talking now.
No, the punching bag!
Good no, but I had to.
Jeez, I forgot those.
No,
Probably
didn't
dream.
hit it right.
through me.
One way.
Bobby.
I went too far.
You.
Somebody go ahead and DM Splints the password.
No.
I'll
Got
do
it.
Just,
A budgie.
I'll do it just because.
Isn't it okay?
That's a verb. Oh, what the? Okay.
I saw that, Rain.
Like, how did that even happen?
I think you kissed it too many times.
I guess so.
Dave?
Oh no.
I had it.
Wait till the blue is down all the way.
There.
There you go.
Ah, now I wish I had a derpy mode. Raina's being completely incognito right now. All you see is her little raft.
Yeah.
She's naked.
I go.
Naked.
Yep.
Motherfucker.
I just want to go floating down a river now. Sorry,
I don't
just-
see how you guys do this one. I always get it.
I don't either.
And just a full yeet when the thing's down, and then you have to hit the space jump button right when you land in the water.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, you could be crosses. Don't even.
Interesting.
I'm going the wrong way, but look at that height though.
Should have been a basketball.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Rose is sad. She really wanted to play with us, but her internet's being ugly, and it even kicked her out of Discord.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Can we go
I
beat
hate
up
that.
the internet people? Let's do it.
Oh, you
yeah.
finally found the emote
All
splits.
the people.
Well, this is really random, but I've been kind of paranoid recently about, like, potentially, like, if my internet went out for a long amount of time, like, what would I do? So I actually ended up, I bought, like, a little cheap indoor antenna to plug into my television so now I actually have TV, like, without access to the internet.
Nice. I just have books.
I'm about to say, don't you have a bunch of books behind you?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, I've got...
Subscribe. Thank you so much, Kraken. Thank you for the 73 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to
If I didn't
Steam.
want to read or play video games, that would
That's what you were trying to do. I figured
Oh
that's what you
my.
were trying to do,
Scratch
Slip.
something.
I figured. Let's see. We'll get some
Just
hype in
something,
chat.
like a
Thank you,
basketball
Kraken.
team.
Also, it's trying to remove the yoga ball. So we're gonna get the chair back. Yeah.
Is there another way up?
Nope.
There
I
is if you want to go the long way, but I prefer the fan anymore myself due to these cameras.
Not yet.
That's not a question you should ask.
I know.
No, it is not.
I thought I was.
If you have to ask, you're probably not.
Mhm.
There it is.
Alright, up next.
Look at Kraken.
Lady Rain is at 51 points.
I don't know how. Bye.
You wanna? Oh.
Don't fully eat it, by the way. Bad idea.
Bad idea to fully. Did it send you
Yeah.
flying? Yeah, I'm not sure any of these are fully.
When you get to the
No,
top
shit,
platform,
touched
the
me!
first time around
The
it is-
counter doesn't move.
You're a weird Cthulhu-looking ball there.
Yes,
I'm gonna make sure I'm in.
Love it. that was a gift from Lady Rain. She got me the Cthulhu looking ball.
There,
I did.
I'm in the hole, guys. Just letting you know.
Ish.
Just letting us know you made it.
Yeah, I made it in the hole this time.
Grab Tessa. Hit him again.
There. Now I have ears. I don't feel naked. And I'll catch.
Well, that was one way to do it, I guess.
Wow, how
It's
did I
out
not
of
freaking
me.
jump at the game?
I got rejected by the gingerbread man.
You hit him in the
Well,
balls.
was it like a dinner first thing?
I'm not
Were
sure
you
how
just-
you're supposed to strategically
Work
approach
hard,
this
buddy.
map, but I know I do it all wrong.
Did you say you like cupcakes better?
Eagle!
Because it takes me way
Oh my
too
God, I've gotta
many
hit that softer.
moves.
Come on, get lower.
Don't hit me!
Hey, hey, hey.
Michigan!
Oh, hit her! Wait, what?
Can't control my ball.
No! Hard. It took 5 though. Oh jeez, run! Just a friendly neighborhood cat.
Bunch.
So I have to say this. As I was getting ready to leave work today, I found out who I was giving a report to. And it was somebody that doesn't normally work on the kind of floor that I do. There's like somebody that just works on like a holding unit somewhere. And I thought, lady, you are in for a world of hurt.
Cookies at Lindsay.
I forgot. Nobody's
How
coming
did
down my
it-
way.
Mr. Splints, there it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
1,000
Hello.
cookies. Hi, welcome. The roar.
Trouble.
Poor Crisis is getting good things and bad things. You got his liver.
Oh no.
Nice try, Kraken. Nice try. You can't custom hit certain people. It's random. No, I messed that up. Messed that up bad. Thank you for the 54 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, we got the hype train going.
Go
Hey,
now,
hey, hey.
no.
I can't.
Yeah, I gotta wait.
Come on, go.
I've been too much.
Now.
Gotta go.
Wait. I'll tell you when.
Wait till it's halfway down.
Yeah.
Now.
No, I gotta go when it's like going up and it's like, right. Oh no, it feels like it's backwards today.
It is. Go. Now.
Oh, hit it. As long as I don't leave, I'm okay.
Go across.
This one you can get a hole in one though, if you're good.
I already did.
Nice.
Rude.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Aiden, and thank you for starting the hype train.
I just appear and there goes the hype.
Yep. Now it's your job. You gotta live up to that now. You gotta do all the
don't you
hype
dare.
and chat.
Seriously.
You gotta be the
could-
hype man.
Yeah. Okay. You telling me to be the hype man? Freaking, I'm about to. You see that raised over there? That's 710. That's about to become 1,000 if you freaking.
No,
get me the hype up.
No, I mean you just. I just meant like really be the hype man. Like I don't know, hype and chat. Not.
Oh, you want hype in chat? You want hype in chat? You want hype in chat? Freaking-
Yeah, exclamation hype. Hype.
We get a better idea.
Oh, hello. Thank you, I guess.
I had no
There you
intention
go.
of helping you.
I have. Oh my god, I got robbed there. I got robbed there. I have messed this one all up. I'm pretty sure Dream's
Like,
losing
I'll
right
be
now.
all-
You okay over there? You've been a little quiet.
Stop
He's
fucking
distracted.
Just really I'm not angry, just really disappointed.
You're coming back up though.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's
No,
not
he-
anger.
I had server muted it.
Which one is it, Tifa?
Fucking raging at it.
I have no idea.
Absolute raging.
Under, left, right.
Mono is in second place. Something doesn't add up.
Who was successful?
Not me.
I was not.
No, never mind.
Okay, you
It's
need to
center,
move.
right, left.
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 Alright.
Center, right, left.
I went left and right. And then
Alright. Who's successful from here? Center? No,
Middle.
it could be left.
I got a
Yeah.
ball.
Ah, fuck.
I went down the middle just fine.
Yeah. And then left, of course.
Oh jeez, I almost didn't make it in the hole.
Hi.
Oh, Rain's in my way.
That sucks.
Go
I
Rain!
got an eagle!
I got an eagle too! That's probably the first time. I always end up going in the wrong hole in the last one. We're not realizing the pole's like right there on the left.
I got a
So you
little
have to
tweet
go to the left every
They're
time on the
actually
last one.
fused to the left and right of the course in the night shields.
You need a quote? Could I be in your corner? No.
No fucking chance.
If I missed anything anybody said, I feel like I've missed everything.
Yeah.
Hole 17, Splints, get ready!
Full yeet is a fail. Full yeet is a fail.
We did the exact
Oh no,
same thing.
I
and
went
it
all
did
the
not
way
work.
down.
Anyway, it's 2 in the morning. I just came in to say hi. Bye.
Bye, get some sleep. Good to see you.
CNC
No.
forward. CNC
You
forward.
know what? Shut your face.
Okay, that works.
Just sitting.
What do we have here?
Shut your face.
That failed miserably.
Yeah, don't. Listen to him, he's stupid.
No, I fucked it up.
So harsh.
I copied you, Shade, and I did better. But,
I don't even know where the hole.
That's about right.
still wasn't perfect.
Got it.
Fuck. I had too much of an angle on that.
Damn, I just did that so good. Getting
Two,
better and better at the holes.
3.
Motherfucker.
Hi, Rain.
Mono posted her
Bye.
Twitch live twice, once better. Did I win twice? What?
Yeah, you did. I like both of them.
It must have gone twice. You might have done your
I
thing.
blame
maybe.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's stupid. I know. I bought them for her, Venus.
I'm kidding. Oh, make sure you see it.
Well, yeah, I like both.
You're cute as you. Thank you so much. I guess it just maybe I thought one of them was Threads because I meant to post on Threads. No, I posted on Threads. I don't know where I didn't post then. Somewhere got denied.
Well, you just really wanted to know.
That is a rare
I
occasion
don't
to be a hole-in-one on this one.
I feel like it glitched.
It's
I
just a weird spot.
So close.
I got
So
71, so I went.
Right? Ah!
I have no idea where I'm
The
at.
job needed to be a little better.
Michigan had
Oh, I'm at 88.
people had 69 right at the hole 17.
The hole using
Yeah. None of us.
None of us are good enough.
No, 69. Congrats, Tifa and Lady Ray.
the block.
I am disappointed, guys. I worked all palm and efforts.
Purple square. Okay, let's
Double purple streak.
Hate everything.
Splints, we have a slide.
I'll be right back. I need to get some more hydration.
Okay.
Sound good?
Oh, if I could get up.
Stretch break if you need it. Oh.
No.
I'm good.
I need to go play some hockey.
Oh,
No,
I need to DM splits.
Yes,
Already
DM
did.
Splints.
I already did.
Tell him jump in.
I did it again.
Time. Yeah, he wanted one for when it was time.
Kimono, what are you drinking? Blue Moon again, or just?
It's empty. No.
Oh, what
It was a Sonic Cherry Limeade,
Ooh,
but it's gone now. Sad.
darn.
So I probably should have went and got a drink. Once it was gone.
Reuse the ice. If there's any
There's
left.
no ice in there, just limes now. It melted.
What's happening?
You're talking Kimono's drink of choice.
What's drink of choice?
It was a cherry limeade.
Vodka.
No.
Just a cherry limeade.
Mm-hmm.
their own.
Anyways, guys, my ultrasound on my liver came back awesome. It said awesome. I don't know why, but
Good.
I always get my liver
Everything's
checked just
normal.
because I'm weird.
Wow.
Thanks.
Way to tell me the wrong password, dude.
Well, that is the right password.
No, you gave me a capital letter at the beginning, and it was not.
Oh, because of the stupid how it
iPhone.
capitalizes.
Yeah, I got you.
Auto capital.
Yeah.
Auto cap. No cap.
I kept the limes. I did add ice,
Ah.
but it's water now.
Stop cap. All right. Here, I'm here now.
What am I? I'm like hitting everything
Wait,
with my
did you
chair.
say you get your liver checked?
No, I do it for fun. That's what I do. I'm weird.
He likes to take it out, take a peek at it, and put it back
Yeah,
in.
put it
Stop! Thank you so much. Just like
He get-
thanking you
no,
so much.
what he means is he goes to the doctor and gets his enzymes checked.
No, I got that,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
what I was
got
thinking. Yeah.
yeah, I got the enzyme, and I got ultrasound,
That doesn't sound
and
fun.
both of them came back awesome. So I had 10
Came back.
livers.
Awesome beast.
What's
Why
that?
Awesome sauce.
Custom.
The English.
I was trying to think off the top of my head there. It's like your ALT, your
Yeah, ALT
your
and your
proton pen, and
what's it called? ALT and something else. Yeah.
I use that thing as a ramp somehow. That never happens. You're supposed to
Look at
just
me.
bounce off of it.
PTT, like clock time and
AST
everything.
maybe? I can't think
Oh
of
Yeah,
no.
No!
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I
Mr.
just
Skip.
helped you out. It's what I do, you know. We're talking
Wow.
about
We are
enzymes.
not off to a smooth start, but that's okay.
I just bounced. I shoved you
I'm
in
just
the
going to
hole,
spend
man.
a day lurking. Okay, you
That's
could have
lame,
joined.
Kraken.
You
I
could
can't
have
do the
joined.
hole.
That's really lame.
But you're just gonna like, okay, I appreciate it.
I didn't mean to like fall past the hole.
Were you trying to join?
What happened?
Who was?
I could have let you in.
We could start over. It's only the first hole.
Yeah, it's only the first
Yeah.
round. Just let me know. Drink water? Got it.
Drinking beer.
I'll drink Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. I might add some Malibu rum to this later.
For Melda rum?
Malibu rum.
Bring
It's
me
coconut
a
rum.
drink.
Malibu. Okay,
Mm.
gotcha. Hey, what are you doing?
We heard something
No.
completely different.
What did
Clearly
you
you don't
hear?
Fucking about.
And you're at the bottom.
Formaldehyde
It's
rum?
okay. From here, you
Like
can
a
get a
combination of
sink it.
formaldehyde and rum?
Ooh.
That's what we
Ooh,
heard.
For-
Not
formaldehyde rum?
Malibu. Yeah, that's what we
that
heard.
does not sound healthy.
Mm.
Posture check. Okay. Sit up straight, feet on the floor. Got it. Got it.
Don't do
You
what
sure
I
you
did.
didn't? You sure you don't want to join Kraken?
So bad at these ones.
Uh-oh.
no.
Oh, fuck.
Network error.
Why do you all? Oh, Strecko.
Well,
So
I
much
helped
for-
you get in the hole. Lady decided to push you out of the hole, so.
Dang, I
Sorry.
hope
I
you're
was
not down
supposed
for
to get a
patience.
I didn't
freaking
mean to, I didn't
car,
see
but
you.
I
I was
ran
talking
into you.
to Sean, you know.
It's not your fault.
I was
ran
talking to
into
Sean. Sean got
I
pissed.
What
wouldn't
is
do
going
that
on here?
purposely.
I got a
Don't
double.
go over the top.
Oh,
I
This
would
is
not
not the
purposely
arm
hurt
wrestling
Pink Pong
movie.
Heavy.
Don't go over the top. Go under.
I didn't realize you could go on.
Yes, I hurt my leg and
Well,
in
guys,
pain.
I've
Do
just
not
been
know how long I will be offline. Aww.
I'll trade you, Kraken. You can have my ankle. I'll take your leg.
I hope it heals
You two
quickly.
would be the most awkward dance couple.
You can take my arm if I
I'd rather
can have
not.
your leg.
Yuck.
Take the leg while I take the ankle.
I thought Kimono was gonna hit me out.
Far. Everybody got far.
Chomp. Smack.
Cheers.
Oh,
Hey,
this
yes,
hole, I
I've
hate this
just
one.
booted.
Whoa.
How
Is it
many is it,
happening?
Dreams?
It's like
How many
happening.
dreams? He's not gonna tell me.
Not enough.
Ow.
Wow.
He's ignoring me.
I like did like a snowboard move there.
I'll let y'all figure that shit out while I go for a piss.
Oh, me.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah, how does
Oh,
Sky
it's
Shower
slightly
look
over
like?
2 from the restart. It's this month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now you done moved me, so I have no idea what it should be.
Slightly over.
Oh, yep. I'm a little above, and now I'm way.
Ah, a little bit more than.
Is that a shame?
I'm gonna learn this.
Are you
so
kidding
I'm
me?
learning it.
I
I
take
hate
my
the
kids'
whole-
advice. Just a little over 2, and I got it.
From the start point, so yeah, you hit R and go back to the start point, and then just hit a little over 2, like not quite a third, but like a quarter,
The bad
2
thing
and a
about
quarter.
hitting R- The bad thing about hitting R is that it counts as a stroke.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
I just really wanted to learn what it was because I do so bad on this one.
No, that was only after your first shot.
I won't remember next time we play though. That's the bad. I wasted all those to not remember next time we play. Feels really bad. Pulled muscle. It can't
my
even
God,
lay down
I
or sit
actually
up.
made it.
Oh, that's not good at all. Maybe put some ice on it. You got
I got burnt?
ice or a pack of frozen peas or something.
No, come on. Wrong ball.
No!
Definitely recommend the
Don't fall in. Don't fall in. No.
We're still enjoying.
I
They
hate
wrap
this
so much.
Yeah.
I hate this hole. No. And I hate this one too.
I went into this hole too. I give up.
Hi, Michigan.
Oh, jeez. Don't go over. Don't go over.
I'm back, Cracker Jack.
Yay!
let's see.
Okay, I.
No.
Hi,
even
Pippa.
I thought you were gonna hit me into the fucking hole.
First time,
Oh,
bitch.
oh, look at that.
First
Getting
time.
denied.
I'm here all night. I'm here all night. Just
I'm
sitting
sure you
there.
are.
That's hard.
I tried to hit you, and I failed.
I tried to hit you. I tried to punch you right there.
So just slightly go around the. Oh, I was gonna say slightly go around the circle, but that worked too, Michigan. There you go. No,
Oh
jump, jump, jump.
no!
What?
You're
I'm stuck on the inside of
How
the
did you
wall.
cling to the wall? What was that?
Yeah, you
I
were
don't
clinging
know.
to the wall. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, big clinger.
He's
Come
Spider-Man.
on.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Just a heads up, Kimono. It doesn't show you on
Jesus, I
Steam.
stroke.
Okay, Toby Maguire.
Okay,
Interesting.
Joe, on the last hole I had 14, dude, and I'm still in last place, even though I got 2 on this one.
You know what? Last place is for the real men.
The real.
I wonder why it doesn't show me on
Genius.
Steam.
Isn't that what it was called? The real men of
I hit
genius? I don't know.
refresh and it did again. I don't
It's
know
probably
if
their
it's
servers
not,
doing
I don't
all
think
of
I
them.
booted.
Oh,
Maybe it's the
oh,
Steam
wow.
servers being weird today then.
It could be. All I know is I got booted
Demons.
from the game already.
Yeah,
Treat me too
Rose
quick.
got booted earlier.
Yeah, slow down.
Oh, no,
No, I said no.
no.
Fucking wall.
No, so close.
Killing your host might be
no,
next.
I reckon the more music I listen to, the better
Sounds
I
like
do
you
I get
popped
into.
your hip out of
I
place.
start putting music in my
Ooh.
ears when I'm playing golf. Like, for fact.
Y'all can't hear. But I
Ooh,
was
that's not good. I wouldn't even know how to pop it back.
Yeah,
I
you
got
don't want to
forced
do
or
that
not.
by yourself.
Oh, we're close. We're close. I'm
Pop-
catching
pop
up
it
on
back,
you.
Pop it back, yeah.
Catching up on you.
Not the same as the shoulder, that's
What
for
the
sure.
fuck?
All I can think of is the video.
Oh, bot.
Richard?
That is not spam.
Yeah, it is. Siri bot got it, not me. I couldn't even ban it.
Oh,
Bot got it before I did.
oh,
Like,
was it spam? Oh, okay.
You talking about banning me again?
No,
Yeah.
I missed it.
Oh, damn it.
no, one of those like follow bot things.
Alright.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Siri bot beat you to it. Dang.
Yeah.
We have to be faster, or she can't be a mod here.
Spam that motherfucker!
Look, I was already typing in the thing to reply to Kraken.
You have to be faster than the AI, or else you're just.
And I can right click and ban, so.
True.
Pretty fast.
Didn't realize it was possible.
Stop the fuck.
I don't know why this whole reminds me of Avatar. I don't know.
Whee! Don't leave, don't leave.
Trees?
I don't know.
No! Whoever hit me, you
Does everything
goddamn
glow
you.
at night?
Yeah, likewise. Whoever hit me.
Yeah,
I'm
buddy.
already in the hole, so I don't know what you're talking about.
God. Dagnabbit!
Oh,
Not a
are
full
you
eat,
upset?
right?
I'm still in a nice place. Like, get off it.
Go back in.
Yeah,
Go back
you
in.
may need to
Oh,
like
thank you,
Stay
Dream.
away from me. Stay
Thank
away
you.
stand on your feet and like rotate your hips in a circle to see,
Not again!
and rotate your hips in another
You help me
circle,
out, thank you,
like back and
Dream.
forth.
Well,
Might help. I don't know.
fucking
That sounds exotic. I'm in.
Well, his hip might be out of place. I don't know. I would be like rotating my hips or knees or whatever till they pop back in place.
My knees.
Hip dysplasia?
Drugs.
No.
That's what it sounds like.
Never happened before though.
Sometimes
Like
it
a
can
first time thing.
happen where it just pops out of place, but
Oh, your hip?
yeah, not
When
me,
I
but
dip, you dip, we dip.
Kraken.
See, if I go too low.
That's something my uncle would
I'm
notice.
sorry, that
Get
was,
low, get low, get
that was
low.
not a nice look to just.
If I hit it too low, I go way out.
Being a bone and joint surgeon, my uncle would know how to do this little stuff like that, but
There you go.
not me.
Oh,
Dream, stop jumping.
No,
I think my hip is already back in place. It's just still really painful. Oh, that could be it too.
I was about to say, I work with hips for a living, and I was going to say, I definitely wouldn't, if it's actually out of place, I definitely would try to put it back in by yourself.
Yeah.
Turns I need to pause this. What were you saying, sorry?
Damn, I was on hold 10.
Don't listen to music, you don't figure it out.
No country for
Oh, shoot, I'm in the wrong one.
Oh, I went too far.
Who the fuck went that way? Someone went that way. Is that you, Joe?
Hey, I was gonna move and you hit me?
I got lucky.
You were in my way.
I don't know. Did you? I think you did.
Yeah, I
So I did it again, splits, but more to the left than the center of that target.
I think you're all hoping for just like I don't.
I went to the left of the center.
targets. I don't.
I think I'm going to punch you, Dreams.
Ooh,
I
again.
heard you, girl.
likes
Thank
it.
you.
Let's make a fucking solid one.
I do have some. That's a good
He likes
idea.
getting-
I've actually
likes
been
getting
busy
hit.
today and did
Guys,
not even think about it. Yeah. Drink lots and lots of water too.
Oh my goodness, Kraken. The first thing I do is take ibuprofen. And then if that doesn't work, then there's definitely something wrong.
Oh, that doesn't cut it.
I'll leave.
No, sorry, I'm talking about a different thing. My bad.
Oh, somebody hit
So
me.
much better.
Oh, who hit me again?
Wow.
I'm just like all over
Really?
the place. Oh, it started me at the beginning, so whoever did that messed me up.
You're welcome.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? It was just a. I was a
Oh.
fraction of a jump away.
And now I'm like going slow-mo on the ramp. That's not good.
It's literally full yeets. All of it is full yeets.
Can you say hello about that in the trap? Well, what the hell's going
Maybe
on
not
there?
much. We're talking
That
about
does
fucking
sound like a lot of work.
3.5 for splints, I'm sure.
Nope.
Well, you didn't have to jump.
I didn't jump. It's okay.
Oh, did he actually touch grass, Kraken? You guys both touch grass today?
He touched grass today. He did better than me. I don't know. I did go out of the house. I went to
Well,
sun.
there's no guarantee they touched
But I didn't
grass.
touch
That was
grass. I didn't
exactly
touch
if they
grass,
touched
yeah.
grass.
My bed is this
No,
one.
but I have
Okay,
stepped out on
okay.
the back porch.
Guys, don't just pick a hole blindly. What are you doing?
You always
Fuck
pick
you.
a hole blindly.
Or don't pick a hole at all and jump over.
I get you into trouble. Oh!
Why does it seem so
Almost rimmed it.
dark? They changed the
Told ya,
brightness on this game.
Don't pick a hole.
You don't pick a hole blindly.
I jumped off.
You
I
don't
said,
pick a
"Fuck the
hole, the
holes."
hole chooses you.
Yeah. The hole is dictated.
I didn't even bother with them hoes.
Yes. There you go, Shane.
I went straight in 2 shots.
Damn.
I got
Awesome.
my fucking. I got my
Like, teach me your ways.
I got me an eagle. I learned not to trust the hole.
Yo, I jumped off the top balcony straight to the hole.
No, I was trying to joke around. Like,
I mean, I'm still 10 back, man. 10 back. I need to fucking recuperate this 10. Oh, you fucking dick, yeah.
Don't you dare hit me, Dream.
I hit the fucking
Thank
rail.
you.
I hit the rail
I
again.
had no control
and then
over what was happening.
No. Does the
I
mushroom
knew it
help me
was in
jump?
the air.
No, it doesn't.
Well, that's one way.
Alright.
That
Music's
was
going back
sad.
on.
That was sad. That was extra sad.
Super sad.
And sometimes you need a couple extra sad to be, I don't know.
Shane is definitely in the lead.
Look,
Fucking,
if it wasn't for that one hole,
I'm trying to get back on this 10, but you're all fucking scuppering me.
Ugh, so close.
scuffering,
Scuppering.
suffering, succotash. Oh, who hit me right as I took off?
It wasn't me.
Well, if you stay there,
It wasn't you. It totally was.
I thought you were gonna push me in, and then I get up.
Oh,
It might have been me.
Suffering.
How was I supposed to know you were gonna go through? I was trying to
It
see
was
if you
definitely Dreams who touched you.
I still get a bar.
That doesn't sound
Whatever.
right.
it's called
Whatever,
scuppering.
whatever. I do what I want.
I'm always scared of people touching me.
I'm
I
still
want
in last
everybody-
place because
I want
I'm fucking
Except when it's
fourth hole.
me. You're okay if I touch you.
No, I'm scared when she touches me because she flings me across the course.
Don't much care for being
That
touched.
sounds
I touch you another way.
freaking
very powerful. Because
What the hell?
Yeah, you don't know?
Dream, I'm
No, no,
gonna.
no,
we're
no, no,
doing
no,
a
No,
play.
no, that's not what I'm
Yeah,
talking
you-
about. Like,
We have a kid together. We have 2 of them actually.
that's not even what I was talking about.
Okay, they have 10 kids.
Not even what I was talking about.
They have
Too
kids.
bad. That's what we were talking about.
Stardew Valley. Life. Yes.
Where's the fucking hole?
Here, I
That's
thought you
what
were.
we were supposed to play tonight, by the way. But my brain got
That's why I
confused.
was confused. Everybody was saying it was something else, and I'm like,
No,
oh,
I
okay,
said
fine.
golf. I never
Yeah,
said.
I messed up.
I
I
didn't jump
I,
back.
Friday. Hold
I
on,
messed
you
up
got
my own
time.
schedule.
And I thought you just wanted to change it up, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna.
No, I started telling everybody we were playing golf, and I didn't look at my own schedule, so I got it wrong.
I just agreed with you because I didn't.
I was like, well, I'm not going back on what I said now.
So
Too late.
what I said
It
earlier
can't
on,
rescind.
what I said earlier on was, I spoke to Kimono had sent me a message earlier on today, and she wasn't too sure whether it's going to be golf with friends or marbles. That's all I
Yeah.
thought. That was it.
Maybe you're
Well, I
losing
knew
your
from
Yeah.
mind.
last week that we've already played golf with friends.
But I
so
was also like
assumed
half
it was
asleep all
marbles.
day.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
and passed
I
on the
Honestly,
didn't know what it was
who
supposed
cares
to be.
what they play? Because it ain't.
I don't think I knew.
I just got a bunch
Oh,
of
I'm
golf
so bad
icons
at this
in
one.
general.
I'm so bad at this
No,
one.
I hit that rock
That's
the
the
wrong
wrong
way.
one.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the wrong
like
one,
stuck on
guys.
the edge. Is that a song?
Always end up in the water.
Nah.
Stuck
You
on
gotta go over the roof, but not too hard.
the roof. The roof. The roof.
The
the
roof
No,
is
you
on
need it.
Fire.
We don't need no water, let
Water,
the
let this-
motherfucker burn.
I think it's
Please.
Rootcraft who's ignoring me.
Not through the roof.
No.
No.
How rude.
Fucking.
Kind of a it's always see.
Kraken's not a good lurker. Ignoring the messages.
Ah,
Definitely not that one.
Oh,
golly.
Son of a bitch.
He's probably playing a game. Probably playing Stardew.
Golly.
Oh,
There. For God's sake.
Just overshooting it every time.
For
He's
fuck's
not even
sake.
playing a
Can
game.
I buy?
How good?
Can I buy
It's
more
not
of these
on the
yet?
right side of the thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh,
I got
me,
one.
I'm back. I was getting your medicine. Oh,
I
she
asked you
has.
a fucking question.
She asked you some questions above.
Who? What's
I
that?
don't know if you can still see them.
Not you.
Why is it not letting me buy stuff? Anyway,
Because your limit is cut off.
I guess. I probably don't
That's what-
have that
all I
much.
care about is just ending this match because I can't make this whole.
Because you're trying.
Okay.
So hold on.
Trying
Hold on.
to-
It really hates me.
No, explain before you go chaotic. What you want to do?
Nope,
is
I
you
only
wanna-
need
you
one
wanna-
more miss.
Down the
He gave up already.
Don't quit. Don't quit
Yeah,
on me,
but did you
son.
touch grass?
Don't quit on me, son.
I'm gonna try it within the game versus just. You're not
I was already in last place. It doesn't matter how well I do on that
Yeah.
hole.
I
Ah,
know, seriously.
Next 2 holes are 69.
fine. It just doesn't like me.
What way are you guys going? I was gonna go to that
This
hole.
way.
Oh, I didn't hit it hard enough. I was hoping to.
Whoops, I don't know. What I'm doing.
Lady.
You know.
Don't go that way.
Lady just wants to hit everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't touch anyone.
Yeah.
Sure, throw that to the
Bam.
fire.
Oh,
I was just giving you the pre-warning.
I just
because
hit
thought you were gonna
split.
God,
start
I got
fucking-
in the hole before
Oh,
all
You
of
better
y'all.
get a
Too hard.
freaking load.
I got in the hole first, you dumbasses.
But yeah.
Let's see.
I got double
There.
bogey. Oh, I got a triple bogey. Fuck off.
Drink.
Don't you
I
go
don't
first?
drink, it's against my rule.
Gee.
Alright, now I just need to get 5 to get a 69.
I'm so
I
gonna
hate
win
this one.
This round, yeah, it's gonna
I
happen.
also need. I need.
Yeah, look what I'm doing now.
Go. Who's going left?
Trying to get 69. Splits, I thought you were on my way.
Who's going left and knows something I don't know?
No, we're gonna
Just,
fight.
Kimono, I'm trying to get up to 69, okay?
Oh, so
I'm not
you're
doing
failing
a
on
good job.
purpose. I'm like, wait.
I'm failing on purpose.
I'm.
What? Oh no.
I'm just gonna let all these guys go.
Dang it. I'm gonna make sure Lady can go.
What the
because it seems
fuck?
like we always hit at the same time.
Don't
Okay,
touch me.
Oh yeah.
No! Oh
I'm in
my
there.
god.
I'm in there.
Lady,
jeez.
thought
I
you
don't
were
think
gonna
I'm gonna
go
make it
too.
though.
After you.
I didn't want that though. I needed another
Yeah.
stroke.
I
Oh,
fucked
that
up.
was
I
gross.
shouldn't have done that.
We're just-
Oh, you wanted one
Dude,
more
this
to
way.
Yeah.
I can't get 69 now. I'm up to
If
6.
I had one more, I could have gotten
Yeah.
69.
I'm so on the edge.
I'm gonna get 79 because it's better.
You're so on the edge. Oh my goodness.
Of glory?
So close to the edge. Don't push
Do
me.
not go towards the grass. Why?
Damn it, I got an 8.
Oh my goodness, I'll see you in a minute.
I'll see you in a minute.
Run.
I'm done with this one. I think.
I don't know why I keep getting this set.
I'm legit too hungry to continue, so I'm gonna
Come on,
keep right from the
keep
beginning.
me up, keep me up, keep me up, keep me up, keep
Have
me
a
up.
good night, guys.
Good night.
Yourself, buddy. You take care.
13 strokes. I'm
James,
right.
you're right there. Right above you. Oh, Jesus, why did you do that for?
You need to hit it harder, not too hard though. That's good.
That,
Oh!
she jumped out of the hole. Oh, you did it in 5 seconds left. Dang, good job.
One
See,
off,
had I just gotten that extra
Yep.
stroke, I would have
You
been
need
fine.
one more point.
No.
Lady, you need one more stroke in your
I
life.
still won. Somehow.
Now I know why you guys were doing all that, because it was the last hole and you guys were trying to
Yeah,
get to
we're trying to count
69.
Because I'm not
Trick or
gonna
treat.
win.
Ay,
I'm
ay,
just
ay.
gonna try to calculate, yeah.
Yeah, we were just trying to get 69.
So you
I was
can
actually trying to
win.
get 96
Alright.
apparently. So.
It's like
Stretch break.
It's like I'm sitting here try-harding, and everybody's like, 69.
Hell yeah,
It's an automatic win.
It trumps first place. It's a rule in golf in real life. No, just kidding.
There should be.
You see all the professionals trying to get 69. Like, yeah.
I'll get 69 next round.
No, I'm gonna give you 69.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah, I probably can't take dick very well anyway.
Wow. I got a traffic cone.
You got traffic cone. That'd be funny if you walked into your room, you actually had one, just like, you just went outside and just got one. Like, yeah.
I probably could go get one from outside.
I remember when I was a kid, that was like so cool stealing one of those. I don't know why. It was kid stuff.
Were you a bad boy?
No, because you thought you were cool, but in reality you're just stealing a cone.
Oh.
When you were still in a coma as a young adult?
I was like 8 and 9, like I wasn't that.
I've been getting a sharp pain in my ankle lately.
I get that every day.
Me too. It's from lack
One-
of stretching.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go put
Once
some
you
Malvarum in this.
screw up,
I was a screw up who blew up.
no,
the
no.
school
Once
up.
you
What?
screw up your ankle, it's with you for life. It seems.
Yeah, but it's just like a sudden sharp pain and then it goes away after a little bit.
Yeah, I get
It's like
those too.
someone stabbing me in the ankle.
It's your toes.
I'll be laying down.
I'm
and
getting that right now, and it's because I'm not touching my toes.
Maybe you should
Touch your toes.
Touch
Maybe
your
you should touch your
toes?
toast.
Touch your toes.
Get some cinnamon.
But
on
they
it.
smell.
I mean, you don't have to actually touch them. Just touch near
Well,
them.
tomorrow
kidding.
I'm gonna have a lot of feet pics of my ice skates tomorrow.
We're not doing this touch toes shit again, are we?
We are. Touch your toes.
I can touch my toes, but I'm not fucking doing
I
that again.
can't.
We've done this.
Mine match my
I should've got
nails.
You
I
can.
should have got a beard.
However, you can.
No, I can.
No, not you. She
Alright.
said she can't, and currently that might be true, but you will be able to if you do it every day.
I don't do it every day. Well, I don't do it every day, and I can still touch my toes.
Trust me, I do it. This is
And I
this
got-
is
and-
when I get my touch the toes is in the shower. At the
I
end,
gotta-
I'm like, bow, touch
gotta-
the toes.
I got a gut that can still touch my toes. So imagine if I was fucking slimmer.
No,
Could we fucking
jeez.
touch
I don't want to imagine.
Can we touch
No.
everything?
Alright, when everybody's
Wow,
back,
this
go
is
ahead,
touching
start.
Everybody.
Like the floor.
Just be careful at who you touch, dude.
No,
You
I'm
need
just meaning
consent
like I
to
can
touch
touch
people.
the floor.
We're just giving them shit. Don't worry.
You need consent to touch the floor. Did you ask the floor if you could touch it?
Dude, the last time the floor talked to
Consent
me,
is important.
It is important.
I'm just
No.
saying. I've not heard the floor speak
So-
to me in a while.
I was gonna say. Do you disagree with when the bodies hit the floor?
Should we just wait on Michigan? Is Tifa back?
Maybe.
You're back. Michigan's not back yet.
Maybe.
Michigan!
Locutus of Borg.
Oh, I just fucking shut my.
Good job.
Nah.
You're an idiot.
Okay, you still have time to get back.
No, I'm here.
No, that's my line. I'm here.
I shut my music down while I was like playing games.
Alright.
Well.
Oh no, I'm so terrible at this
I
one.
have to prison
This is
break.
the
it out.
easy one!
I'm sure it is, but I'm terrible
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
easy for you to break out, not me.
This is easier.
I'm not an escapist.
This is just as easy as the forest.
I'm not an escapist.
I think this is the second
Maybe
easiest
I-
map on the game.
if I do the crime, I have
Oh!
to, do the time. So.
I'm waiting for you guys. I am
Sorry, Shane.
Escapers.
That was me. I booty bumped you.
Dude,
And
I
you
fucking
veered off.
hit a bunch of people on the way up, you know.
I was
Tifa's
just
all
moving
like,
faster.
"Got it."
Man, you're
Good for
fast.
you, Tifa. Good for
Too
you.
much dreams.
Hey,
Good
I
for you
waited. I
guys.
didn't want to go fuck this and just go right through you guys like that.
You didn't want a booty bust?
No.
Patience
I was
is-
Whoa.
patience is gone. Like,
Hi,
my
Kimono.
patience is gone. Like, I was...
Yeah,
Search
I don't
by
I
like
you.
wonder if you could
here.
swoosh this one. I bet you could swoosh and hole in one this one.
You could, but it's so hard when other people are trying to go. Like,
Okay.
Oh,
otherwise you end up like Tifa, like just going off the edge. You know?
Mhm.
Oh.
I was trying. I was trying to hole in one this one.
I
Molly,
did
your,
it too.
your
I'm always trying to
ball
pull.
is just too complex.
The best.
It really is. It's that. Oh yeah, moment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Everybody was in sync there. Hi, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Don't touch my ball with your ball. It's weird.
Can I
don't
get
like
a
your ball.
point?
I can't help it. I'm slidey and I have tentacles.
Not
touching my
touching my
balls.
wife.
My ball.
Don't touch
sorry.
her balls.
No, she
Not
touched my
all
ball.
touch.
She touched my
I
ball.
jumped over the
I
hole.
touched your
No,
ball.
don't touch her balls.
Kimono,
Not
why did
touch
you
her
jump
ball.
over the hole?
I don't know. I was trying to be sporty. Woo! I got too excited.
Where am I going?
She touched my ball.
See?
I was having
Yeah.
fun. I
You
got
also
too
can't
excited.
touch Shane's ball. He
No, he touched
I'm
my ball
only
also
allowed to touch his ball,
afterwards. So everybody's touching my balls. Ball. Ball.
No, you can
James.
do balls. I don't care.
James, you still have Christmas
touch
pudding on your head.
Look how consistent I
You and I,
am. Two.
You're so consistent.
You and I,
Whoa, what the?
Yay.
Ah! You scared me so bad. I thought you were gonna hit me.
I'm coughing like real many guys.
Sorry, Aiden. I ran into you as I was walking under the legs.
Good, he deserves it.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
That sounds like some
Hey,
serious
now stop that.
business there.
when I don't focus, I become focused.
Oh yeah?
Weird.
When I start poking, I focus.
Oh my god.
Damn! Put him back.
No, I want to see how long it takes them to figure it out.
Oh my
Oh, he already
god, I
figured it
got
out. He
fucking
gets- He
scared.
does.
Oh, I found a new way to do it.
Also,
Yeah, that's
can
what all
you-
teenagers
can you-
think, but they're wrong.
I was gonna say, can you email me the?
I drink.
Oh, this is a new way. Nobody's ever done this before.
It's y'all unimaginative motherfuckers.
Dreams, hi.
Oh, Dream, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Thanks for allowing me back.
Welcome back.
What the hell happened there?
Lady being fucking too handy.
She does have her hand out.
Oh, Mish, I'm sorry.
Ah.
No, you actually stopped me from rolling.
I
over.
couldn't
I know,
help
but you
it.
messed me
I
up.
had
No.
I would have had a birdie.
Why did you
No.
say sorry?
Just because I made contact.
I don't like
That's
just
crazy.
touching my
That
ball.
That was so
Fucking
cool.
asshole.
I've been so kind of grumpy that I'm like, now I'm not so grumpy. I gotta troll the shit out of you, Dreams.
Oh,
You wanna get the fucking
It's
eagle.
very
You
nice
know, I
for
kind of
you.
like it.
No, she's picking on you
Because I'm
because this is kindergarten.
doing good.
Yeah.
I'm right there behind you, though, Dream. Watch out.
Mhm.
Whoa, you're right behind it.
Yeah, I'm right behind. Oh, shit.
Say, no!
Lady.
Can I get off the wall? Nope. Oh, okay, I'll take that.
Hey Mona, what would I get if I cashed in all my heart points now?
No,
$1
no,
million.
no, 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 no.
How many
Not
you
on
got?
my mode.
Bazillion.
133,000.
a few kimonos, I'm assuming.
You get it all.
What'd you say? You-
Or 45,
You get
Stickers.
45.
with the
You get
double
45 stickers, yeah. Send you a whole pack of stickers.
You get a signature.
And you can stick them everywhere and advertise for me. It's like,
Yeah, just put it on your hat and just walk around like when you're at the hospital. You know.
Lady, what are you doing?
The less I
Going
pay
for a
attention
swim
to
with
it,
my
the better I
nessie.
do.
Let's just
randomly distribute them
Mhm.
in the hospital bathrooms. I don't know, that'd be weird.
I'm still
Oh,
trying to
that
figure
would
out
be
what I
weird.
did with your
Oh, we're
art.
going to Kimono's
my
room
precious
again.
discount Nessie.
That's what we call Dory, or what's the dinosaur in Super Mario 64? Like the little
Yoshi.
plesiosaur. No, the
I don't
one
know.
that swim in Mario 64, the one that swims.
Oh, the
in
other
Thank
one.
you.
Yeah. Sorry.
You got me closer, Reed. Thank you.
I'm only a
I think it's
child.
Dory.
Jumping!
Rap, rap,
Suck.
rap, rap.
They always say warm up your legs before you jump.
Oh. Okay, Dream,
It's just
you do
being
know you
evil.
can jump, right?
Yeah, I know. But I've
Okay.
done
Sometimes
it
it won't.
before.
On this one, I found myself on the tile. Sometimes I can't jump.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to tell you to.
Hold
If
on.
you hit a
There.
certain spot on the tile, it won't let you
Give
do
me a minute.
anything. It just
Yeah.
puts you back.
Oh, I didn't realize
This
it.
is on fire.
Okay.
Roasted Christmas pudding.
Yeah, the box is-
Leave me alone!
Oh my god, we both did
Oh
it at
my
the same
god,
time.
did
That
I
was
inadvertently
that was
sing a
so
Taylor
funny.
Swift song? I have no idea.
You cannot do that.
I don't think that
No,
was.
you
Cat just
We ain't
scared
gonna
the shit
escape,
out.
nobody could.
fucking love Tay Swift.
I'm over
What?
here, relax this shit on at my desk. Puddles comes up behind me,
Oh no.
stretches up and taps my shoulder, scares the fucking shit out of me.
I didn't jump.
It's like jokes on you.
Oh.
Oh, that doesn't work.
Here, Puddles, up.
Oh.
Maybe this
Oh.
will though.
Shite.
Maybe this
Whoa,
will. Maybe
where
this
am I
will.
going?
Maybe this will.
We
Couple
touch
trash
balls
bags.
in the
Go
air.
in the back.
Behind the trash bags, upstairs.
Yeah,
whoops.
you have to take the trash out
There we
and then
go.
you can get in.
Oh,
Hello?
you fucking dick!
Hello?
Who was that?
Oh no,
My
Shane!
Flint.
Splints! Absolute fucking heathen!
Dude,
What
I was
happened?
going
Did you
in
get
too.
hit?
Yeah, I bet you were. With my
Did y'all hit each
paper.
other?
No,
Yep.
we were both on our
Puddle.
way in, and then we bounced out.
I don't believe
Yeah.
it.
Because you guys were sharing the same hole.
Cause y'all hit sticks.
You know what?
It wasn't even
Puddle.
sticks, it was just
That
balls.
often happens. I dropped 5 spaces, Splints.
Let's
It's
see.
not my fault.
It was you.
Get
It
good.
was not my
your
fault.
fault.
So you.
No, it was you, Dreams. You suck.
Oh
I
my
can't tell
god,
if
this
that's
one
a
is
broom.
fucking stupid.
Is that a broom or people say?
Yeah,
Never sound like-
we'll just say it is.
Posizione, as the Italians might say. That'll feel-
Mona.
No! I think you're
Thank
gonna
you for
hit
the
midair.
boost.
You're not
Hello,
welcome.
can you give me a
I
favor?
think you're
No,
gonna be hit. No! Just beat the gate! I play Michigan.
Nailed it.
I didn't do anything. You went almost.
I know.
Well, how's that work?
I know, that's why I blamed you. I was like, I'll just blame him. I know he didn't do anything.
Got a pass.
What?
Oh, Tifa.
Nice.
Now the dogs are out to get me.
Ooh, let the dogs
I
out.
always
Tifa,
said that
stay
I was
still,
gonna-
stay still. Oh,
No.
Okay, fine. I was gonna try and help you, but
Were you? Oops.
I was.
Sorry.
You were right in front of me. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm scared of being touched. I run.
Just a little oh no. I got touched.
Hey,
Go fast.
I'm still here with
Maybe
you,
it's
but
the
I'm
whole
still
patch,
getting
you
a
don't get
little.
touched.
I prefer keeping the last one.
Hey, last place, best place.
Calling it. Somebody's gonna get 69 on this map.
When if I focus, I think I'm winning this.
If I don't get 69, I'm retiring from
Yeah, one.
Dream, you're gonna get murdered.
You're a fucking curse, Michigan.
You get off my course.
No, you're
Get off my course.
Oh, look at all of us with walls of ones.
Don't make my
You know what?
19%.
I'll just go last. I'll go last on every
Yeet.
occasion.
You
I feel like I
go
do
last
better.
on every
I
occasion.
feel like I do
okay.
better when everyone just leaves me alone.
Gets off your course.
No!
Yeah, get
No.
off my course.
No!
This is actually my course.
Well,
I need to go.
No, I hit the
There we
floor.
go.
record.
Oh, I hit the freaking thing.
Son of a.
Yeah.
Nope. And also, I went way too hard on the way back.
I
Come on,
see
keep
that.
jumping.
Michigan, I tried. I just pushed you further
Just
away.
help me
Oh,
out.
Shane helped you.
Die.
Shane helped you.
No, I helped myself. I had to push a button.
No,
Oh,
don't
did
be
you?
that close to it.
Don't move,
Oh,
don't move.
I will
please.
remember that kimono when you just shoved me away. It's like,
No, I refuse to give up.
Right? Because now you gotta shoot away to shoot toward it. But now you can get a whole. Now you can get it in one go. Yeah.
Right, just like that.
you should have just done that.
Yeah.
Just like that. Now I'm in third place. What is up with that?
Fourth.
Us, we are all professionals.
Killed my ability.
You're an ability killer.
Oh wow.
What the fuck?
Someone-
No,
Okay.
that sounds like a perk. Yeah.
Someone knocked me over, knocked me back, and oh, I rimmed it.
No.
Sounds like a.
No, I jumped too early.
Snappy! Thank you for the 14 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, have I
Thank
forgotten
you, chat.
my resub?
Thank you so
Shit.
much for 14 months. I hope you're doing awesome.
Wait, where's the prime sub? Prime sub.
I had a ribeye steak and a loaded sweet potato. Did you know I was asking everybody what they ate today? Maybe because I like food.
You do that a lot.
I do.
Yeah, but the pattern.
I just think about food. As soon as I get on here, I think about food. Because then I go, oh no, I'm hungry. And it's too late.
Well, tomorrow I'm
What
taking my
the-
mother out for Mother's Day.
I pulled that one.
Nice.
I know Mother's Day's not until Sunday, but Sunday I go up north, so only day I can actually celebrate it is
No.
Saturday.
It's probably better anyway. Less people are going out.
Lady.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's where I'm going. I'm going to Olive Garden.
Nice.
I can't even see ladies.
Mhm.
It's just-
Sounds delicious.
it's just there.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Oh.
him and Proppy
So
did. It's so good.
suspicious.
Puddles, get out of there.
Pew. See. Alright, and then I'm gonna go here and go boop.
You have to make that sound
No!
too.
Cut out.
Oop. Is that how
Yes.
you get in the hole?
It sounds helped. My niece's
Bro,
birthday is
I'm gonna
tomorrow.
wait till y'all
Aw.
fucking figure
You gonna
your
get cake?
stuff out.
Mmm.
I'm already
Hope
in the
you have
hole.
fun.
5 beautiful strokes.
3.
Hey, well, good.
I want to
good.
get hit again.
I'm glad to hear it.
Lady Raid's like, wait, what did y'all do?
Let's see what
Yeah,
else we
I'm
got
over
on
here playing
here.
Fallout Shelter on my phone too.
It's lady. Oh, it's a ghost.
Jeez.
Oh, it's a bubble.
How did you
What
do
is
that?
in here?
What?
Packs. There we go.
She sits
Very
and watches
carefully.
everybody, and then it's like fucking, haha, don't play this game too much.
No.
Here, I'll
But what
move.
she just did like
Boop.
was like a jump around.
Jump,
Jump.
jump, jump around.
Exactly.
Oh, I was getting in the hole.
That's not all, the little boy.
Not quite the position I want to
No.
be in, but it's not bad.
Okay.
I messed it. Oh, come on.
No.
Oh, you fucking.
Now I'm in the
I
infinite
gave
jump
it the
mode.
power, you
Just might as well start over.
Can live with this.
I just went crazy in the wire.
I done fucked up.
I'll go back to the beginning. I don't give a flying far.
Ta-da! Okay, so this gives me enough runway not to mess up.
You can just go crazy in the wider and eventually you'll bounce right away.
No, don't roll off, don't roll off!
I just go to back, straight back to the gun. It helps
Bye,
me
Kimono.
project my trajectory.
Okay. And we'll try again, and...
5 shot.
Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
fuck off.
I'm in, finally. The double bogey, but I'm in.
I got a
Small
bogey,
things.
Wait, so
Anybody at 69 yet? Not yet.
Oh no!
Because you just rushed through it.
You're a dream weaver,
Oh,
flowing down the river, feeling fine.
I love how you
Damn.
I don't know these people. This is weird. Like, who are you guys?
I love how you know that song.
Of course I do. Wayne's World, excellent. Party time.
Party time.
Gee, Buzz, how am I supposed to do that? Like, it's
With
not good.
tenacity,
No, I didn't go hard
It's
enough.
not good. Brazilians?
You miss
resilient.
100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott.
That's
Meow.
fucking true, actually.
State. No!
No, it's too far. I
Stay!
don't think I can make that shot. Oh.
No!
And
Okay, I'll take a par.
Don't.
Don't know the partake.
No!
I might be partaking.
Just like slid around the edge and didn't make it.
I know, I saw that.
That's sad.
Okay, I have to get.
Okay, Lady Ring, you just need 3.
But seriously,
I
you're
have to
like,
get a
oh,
4.
this one's just as easy as Forest. No, it's not.
I don't know how you expect me to make this in
Not
3
even close to
strokes.
Forest. This one's
I know.
crazy as
Dude,
shit.
this is like Forest, but like 8 Forest. This is just,
Fuck.
you lost.
Oh, okay, that works.
No! Why am I on the backwards treadmill?
I
Is it-
have to
yeah,
get it
you
in
need to
right
be on
now,
there?
or else I don't get 69.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm gonna switch back.
And then line
Somebody
up
hold my
together.
Something
Oh, not enough.
with dreams all made them.
Made it a little better for me, though. Thank you. If it did
stop,
that.
stop.
I got 71, so that makes me
Oh, come on! Okay.
overachiever.
It's gonna go too far. Hi, Cliff.
Membership.
I like your hat. Your firefighter
I
hat.
hopped
I
over
didn't
the
even make it all the
hole.
way up.
Well, there's pills for that.
Oh, and then I went too far. Okay, thank you for that.
I made it to my very last stroke.
What
Are you kidding
happened?
me?
I was in line to go in the hole. Something helped you.
Whoever I knocked off from that,
That was me.
tough shit.
Okay, I'll
It's
probably
not me.
so.
It's not
Oh.
Friends with enemies for a reason. Mhm.
Sucks.
Because you're on the
Lord.
edge right there. You're on the edge.
Alright, did anybody get
Don't
69?
push me, cause yeah, I'm.
Oh,
clearly
Kimono!
Kimono!
You
Congratulations!
dreams, you got me to win. Thank you.
Congratulations!
I'm not
How
here all
do you
week.
want
I'm
to
here
spend
all
your
night.
69?
Oh, I got the
Plunge.
black cap. I got the black cap. Y'all losing now. Y'all losing now. I got the black cap.
I got the green trail.
You know what I'm saying? How do I even put that on? Customize?
Yeah.
Kimono, you're too good at this game if you get 60.
Alright.
Join section, Kimono.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out of here.
The score.
Is everybody done or?
I'm not done.
I'm
Still
not.
winning.
done.
I'm still
Okay.
winning.
Okay, we'll do one
It's
more,
up to everybody else.
and then I'm gonna call it because
Can I just ask?
All right, I'm gonna step away for a sec, but I'll be right back.
I'm gonna get a beer, then we'll start, and then we'll go.
Don't actually count my seconds.
Take care.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Can I just ask? Catch you. Peace out, buddy.
Peace out.
Bye, Shane.
After
Good
the
night.
games, are we still hanging out, or are we all gone?
Mm-hmm.
Still hanging out. Okay.
For a little while. Wild Arbok. See, that's weird. Sometimes it does the other one. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
My
It's
YouTube
not gonna tell
has
me.
just decided to. Whenever
Not gonna let
I've
me
played
buy
one song,
anything.
my YouTube, whenever I've just left it kind of roll, has just left one song rolling after another song and after another song, and I'll be honest with you, pretty fucking good. So I'm sitting here jamming to YouTube songs that I didn't even know that I had as a playlist, and don't have as a playlist. Just it it just fucking rolls
Algorithms.
on a good song. Yeah, algorithms just fucking make it a really good song after
Oh,
another.
it's all in your favor, yeah.
Well, it seems like it.
Nobody's gonna call
It's fucking banging, I won't lie to you.
Shush with banging.
Alright. Is Tumba here?
Can I just say, remember that guy that I was commenting on earlier on? Matt.
Matt Damon?
No, Matt Berries. Matt Berries. The guy that does the voiceover for the.
Are we waiting for anybody? Sorry.
Pure and
I think everybody's here. Is Tifa here?
So he's got
Maybe.
a scale.
Yeah, you're here? Okay.
You wouldn't believe it.
The most devious bastard in New York City.
That was so funny. I will laugh tomorrow.
It's not meant to be a joke, but you'll see it.
Wow.
If you want to. I can't help it. I'm shouting of fucking stories. You'll find out. There you go.
I don't know how to get a hold of all that one.
Usually okay.
Hey, go. Daylight come and you
Ah,
wanna
it didn't
go.
let me jump. Oh well.
I'm trying to get the game up. It's not letting me.
Dreamweaver looks blue today.
He is.
He's got blue balls. Oh no.
Arizona is Arizona. Like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Go, Dream.
Smash.
Go, Michigan.
Dream, you got
Hold
blue
on.
balls.
My game won't pop up. I'm clicking
Dream's
it.
got blue balls.
Slightly to the right brings it back slightly to the left.
Wow, that was so good, dude.
I mean, a little bit more power would have had it. Now I need to go a little bit more.
I apologize.
More power.
When it comes to this game, I'm a dick.
Your game disappear, Michigan?
It did, but I finally found it.
I love it.
It was very haunted.
It likes a bit of
Sounds
banter.
like it.
Oh,
A little bit of banter.
I love a bit of banter.
You didn't know.
Now I have to find disco.
New York City.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 people tied for first.
I go for
Dude, I'm always
Oh, it's like one of those, like
Ah,
up the
damn.
hill, into the hole.
into
Oh,
the
I missed
other
it.
hole
I missed
before
it.
this hole.
Me too.
I think the less I
Kimono, you're touching my ball. You're the one.
You've been slimed.
Okay, everybody sounds like they're like talking about the hole, but y'all need to chill.
I'm talking about all the holes. All 18.
Oh.
Oh, keep it!
I don't have 18.
I blame the pole.
Well, I
And
do
then you
too.
hit me out. I
That's
was
what she
just about to
said.
go in.
I know. Well, I hit the pole and bounced off. It looked like so weird. But I think we like hit at the same time, both of us. Yeah.
stands to lose you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Onegaishimasu. Yeah, birdie.
I don't know what I'm playing anymore.
Uh,
See how many points I can
Usually
get.
I do, guys. Usually I do worse when I've been playing for a while. We'll just leave it at that.
Mhm.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, sometimes you do better. Just depends.
or are we doing
Yeah.
worse? No, just kidding.
Okay.
Because you don't overthink it. When you overthink it, it
No,
makes
what
it
I
hard.
mean with the use of euphemisms is that, like, if I've been drinking, I do terribly. But usually when I'm sober, I do okay.
You don't
Drinking.
Everybody. Dream. We were dreaming that you would find the hole eventually.
No.
I'm kind of quite the
I
opposite.
find a hole.
I want to go down the hole.
I try, but the more I
try,
don't think of anything works.
Oh, no. God dang it.
Bye, Michigan.
You put it.
I didn't
Put
hit
a
it hard
table
enough.
in front of the hole. Jesus.
Yeah, oh, I'll take that all day.
When I go golfing, I don't want a table.
I should have had an albatross, but I got a birdie.
Dang.
You got a birdie too.
I'm having a very difficult.
James' turn.
Sweet
He's jamming.
dreams are made of these. Wrapping
Who
round
am I
tables.
to
Where is the hole?
That's it.
Such a difficult position to get out of here, Mish.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from my ball.
There you go. Now just jump all the way across.
I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching you.
It's right there in front of you.
Finish again! Where are you going?
Dude,
I'm
you're
going to the
whacking
other
it.
Why did you fucking jump?
Slange.
Don't jump.
Wow.
Drink.
That's.
There you go.
I'm trying my best.
Did I really just
Now you're gonna have to deal with the haunted babies soon.
Cheers.
PBR, right?
What, you giving me shit because I'm drinking PBR?
No, I'm.
No.
Why would I? First
Yes.
off. Second of all.
Yeah,
how
I
dare
like
you.
it. I like how dare you.
No, I had to have PBR a couple days ago because it was sold out the leagues.
How am I gonna do this? Maybe this way,
Oh,
a little
jeez.
hard, off that way. Then we're gonna do this way, up, bounce.
I'm actually
Now
getting.
I need to reevaluate.
Why is it not bouncing high enough?
Oh, shit, I jumped too late.
This game is
But at this
real.
point, I can
Here's
ski,
the
ski,
Overland.
ski, ski, ski.
Oh damn! Almost got it.
Yeah, I almost did.
I'm still going too far.
Unfortunately, it's a bogey.
I just want to watch some better.
I messed this one all the way up. I used to be able to just jump across, but for some reason I can't do it anymore.
So see,
Yeah,
when
I-
you're jumping on wood, when you're
You
jumping
get
on
good.
wood,
Hey,
you've got to
You're jumping on
knock
wood.
it off. This is a
when
PG
you're,
show.
when you're jumping on wood, you've got to give it a little moment, and then you can jump again. You got to let it go flat and then jump again.
Let's go flat. Wow, this is.
It's called strategic, you know. You don't want to shoot too much.
Strategy.
They do it
You gotta-
differently in Scotland.
when you're jumping on wood, you gotta give it a bit of time.
Okay, Dr. Wood.
Okay, Doctor Who.
Doctor, what's up?
No, that's not up.
Oh, I overshot it.
It wasn't the first time you said that.
No,
sorry.
I didn't shoot it hard enough.
Nah, you can't overshoot.
I can't remember.
You can if you're me.
Nah, you don't overshoot.
Shit. Okay.
I'm playing golf. I don't know what you guys.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. I'll just
Please
jump
be
that
okay,
little
please be
ledge.
okay, please be okay. Oh.
You got
oh.
lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got lucky. She is.
Yeah.
Lucky the cat.
Here. No,
Apparently, I've hit that level. I don't know.
No, you hit. You're too good.
That level.
Oh God.
Awesome.
I went.
Oh, green. That was so
So does the ghost not make you die anymore?
No.
I'm not sure.
It used to be the cart or the ghost hit you, you were done for.
The cart does it as well.
Hmm.
Ladies first, come on.
Oh, I was so close. What the fuck?
That was smooth. That was smooth. That was to perfection.
Oh no!
The-
I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to.
There,
Oh, I
okay,
didn't
that's
move
fine.
your
That's
arm.
fine. That's fine. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
I'm gonna play the
Who the fuck's Shabuzi?
you.
Holy shit.
I went to another hole.
Oh my god, why is gonna say it worked out and it didn't?
Am I in the right?
I missed it.
What happened?
You guys are way overshooting and I'm undershooting.
Hey,
I
Mr.
can't move. No, I can technically move. I thought I was
Ken.
behind.
What the?
No!
Hey, too late.
Gymnasium. All right. Okay, so that didn't work well. Yeah, just wiggle my way out there.
Like you do.
As you do. And then
Wiggle,
you
wiggle.
go.
Loopy loop. Yep, like that.
Jump.
I would have
Jump,
like
jump,
jumped,
jump
but
around.
He was jumping the wrong direction at that point. Mhm.
it's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
He would have been. Mhm.
Wait, I'm gonna make it here.
Salt and pepper shake.
Oh, I didn't hit it hard enough. Oh, that's embarrassing.
That's what she said.
No!
Oh, I did it again.
We all
Oh
saw
no,
you.
not a 9-stroker.
Splints, we all saw you not hit hard enough, and I'm sorry.
You
that
were
I
in
saw
the
it.
lead. What happened?
I'll still
I
be in the lead, don't
apologize
worry.
for what I saw, but
Mm.
I can't unsee it. How did that end up?
Come on. You're
Oh
the
wait,
fucking
you're not
rock
allowed to
grab-
continue on the stairs? I thought.
I know,
Oh
exactly.
no! I'm gonna jump forever.
You can, but just fucking get that momentum.
Trust me, I'm not doing well.
No, the
Alright.
skeleton, I swear to move.
Can someone get this coffin out of the way?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Hit the target.
What do you do if you hit the
Oh,
target?
I've got a fucking perfect angle.
How much?
Perfect angle.
I don't remember.
Put your
I just
dangles
did
on
all-
me.
I'm like,
I've never tried the target.
same.
No.
No, I didn't mean it. Oh, I wasted a stroke on nothing.
I've been playing how long and I just now realized my trail makes music.
You're the one who changed it.
I didn't know it made music though.
Oh wait, it actually like makes sound?
Yeah.
Oh. I have all the sounds turned off.
Her golf ball.
Yeah, I normally do too. So that's why I didn't know.
Wonderful. It's wonderful music.
Come on. No. Why? Alright.
One day
I'm
I'll
just
have
gonna
some
run out of
music.
turns.
Down to me, I promise.
Fuck.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Drink, slunge. Lady, you good?
Said,
Pour up.
No!
Drink.
I don't drink.
That did not help me.
Look at the little
I give up.
cookies.
I'm just gonna use up all my turns now.
You know what's funny is I give up mostly on Candyland. Like that one messes me up so bad.
Oh!
Are you
What's that?
secretly like a dentist? And
The Candyland messes with my head.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
because you wanted to like brush every single time.
You didn't see that.
Kimono.
Lady,
So
okay?
sorry.
I had the worst luck this time.
You okay?
I get a 13 though.
The second
Sure.
win is over. He needs a third win.
Dreams still like we're in sync there. You go first. Hi, Michigan.
I didn't hit it nearly hard enough.
The thing about me is I'm just
I
trying
think
to
I'm gonna
control-
actually hop off for the night.
What?
Alright, good night, Reem.
I'm
Lady,
super
yeah.
sleepy, guys.
I hope you feel better. Good to see you.
Will you have
Bye.
a good week of sleeping?
You blocked me, but I love you still.
Black. She got moved. He got moved.
Well, that's funny is because you were blocking me on my screen.
Come again now?
You were blocking me on my screen.
I didn't block you on nothing.
Let's see.
Well, I went way too.
Oh, it's way over there. Are you allowed to be on
Hit the books.
meter areas?
I feel like I'm melting.
Full blast, hit the book. To the left.
No. Stop.
I'm milking the ram because every time
Full
I
blast,
I
hit
go-
those books way behind the ram. Or moose or whatever. Yeah.
But,
Okay, maybe not quite full blast for you, Splunts, whatever position you're in. But almost, but you get the idea. Whatever area of the book you aimed for.
This is why I can't wait to escape.
Are you kidding me?
A little bit less heat.
It's less. It's not heat. It's angle.
Flange.
Angle.
Cheers.
Maybe heat. I don't know. It's definitely angle.
Doing some fucking good speed.
It's probably which page you hit. Like, I don't know if it's the far left page you're supposed to hit.
Well, you have to read the right way, or else it won't let you.
No! Stay in the course.
What about time? Okay, you want to go 3.5? 3.5.
Stop it. Oh no, it's even better.
We're all getting worse.
3.5 straight up the middle. 3.5 straight up the middle. That's all I'm saying.
You don't know.
Okay.
Weird.
Back in.
Oh,
No, it's
phew.
good. Hit
There
the
we
buttons.
go.
Oh my god, that's all I needed to do was get back in.
There we go.
Jesus.
I'm almost at 69.
We're so close to this 59. It's 69.
No, it's
59. I just heard that.
You're not really.
I'm not gonna even.
Yeah.
Not really.
I always
Oh,
like
yeah.
bounce out
You
on
got
this one.
ejected.
Wow.
Oh wait. Maybe not a full yeet, but maybe
Just trying to get there so we can. Not
Oh.
Do you know what?
Hmm.
Maybe. Like 4 and a.
What? I thought that was a safe way to go. I didn't. Come on.
There's just too many holes.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's like 3 1/4, I think.
It was the Jennifer Lawrence thing, wasn't it? With the hot wings? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm going for 3.
I gotta jump over that?
Nine
Maybe.
each time.
Yep. Okay.
Strokies.
I'm
coming
pushing
up
my
in the rings
59. Oh my god.
Couple short.
How many is that? 3?
I don't.
No, can you save it? No, save it. Save it. Save it. Save it. Fuck no.
I just want to throw in myself out there.
Pivot.
There we go.
It's
No!
messy.
Did you get in that hole before me, Kimono?
No.
I actually got in the hole before anybody.
Well, it was you.
I'm still at the beginning.
She didn't even start yet, huh?
No, I can't get past the dang bookshelf.
I'm just too good at these games, so I quit. Stupid.
It's like
Okay,
the
I'll get a
smallest
bar. I'll get a
edge, and
bar.
I just hit it like every
That's
time.
Hard? Don't let us hear it.
Can I just say, I love our Fridays.
Our Fridays.
Fridays are our Fridays
Yeah.
are fucking like I love them. In the grand scheme of things, Friday's a good day to just sit and chill and play good games. So, thanks for your company.
I really want to do some deer hunting with you.
With me.
Not like real deer, but
Did we lose another person? Michigan?
Oh, I crashed.
IRL as well.
Mm-hmm. That's what they
I
all
crashed,
say.
Yeah, I crashed. Yeah, my internet's not doing well right now.
Save it. Save it. Save it. Save it. Save it. No. No.
Oh, I can't hardly speak.
Oh, what?
Where's the flag? In the middle
The
of the
weather's
ball.
killing me. I have a pounding headache right this second. It hurts.
Did you take Tylenol and all this stuff?
No, because it happens every time the weather gets bad, and it's just annoying.
What do you mean
I got
I
lucky
didn't
on that
get
one
in?
also. I don't know. I don't feel that because I never. Weather's never affected.
I think it's because the temperature changes so
Sorry,
much
kidding
and the
me.
barometric pressure is so much. It just like it's like so
Yeah,
intense.
yeah, it affects
like-
people more than some people.
Yeah, when you change 40 degrees
Hey, look
several
at
times
me.
a day.
Yeah, to me, it's never been a thing. Yeah.
I got 69, guys.
Oh, that's a
Congrats.
fucking drink right there. Kimono, you got a headache?
Yeah.
The pressure. It's more like a pressure headache.
Yeah, it's murdering me.
I know how those
It's
feel.
going
Those
the wrong way.
are bad to me too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway.
Especially if I had to drive a bus with it. It's
for the
really bad.
Oh.
Well, just finish the whole and then.
Let's see.
Mm. Are you serious? Am I even in it?
You're just sitting there. There you go.
I'm sorry you got such a bad headache, buddy.
It has stopped.
It actually sucks, and I know how that feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sinus pressure headache. That is no fun.
Oh, I hate those. Those are the worst.
Change
I
your
drink,
one
get a hole
point.
in one, you get a 69.
You say get a hole in one. Have you seen this hole? There is no chance in. I'll tell you what though. I'll drink to the 69. Here's to the
Yeah.
69.
But there's no hole in one. Ah! Oh, I'm already messed up.
What the shit? I thought I was gonna get in.
Oh
that
my god,
section.
you messed me up.
What? No.
Yeah,
If I
we're
got a
just
hole-
gonna
if I
go
got a hole in
full
one, I'll
speed and see what happens.
Oh
Did I
my
get over?
god, you were in front of me.
If I got a
Oh
hole
my
in one,
god, that was great.
Can I check a
I'm
question,
in.
Kimono?
Uh-huh.
Is your headache confused by us talking, or is it just like you naturally have a headache?
Oh, it's your voice.
It's the weather. It's the weather, but the games, the noises don't help it. The once that happens and the screens and stuff don't help once it starts happening. But yeah.
sunshine and temperature does it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious.
Are you kidding me? I hit
Yeah.
it harder tonight, but no.
Like the temperatures because the weather's changing so much. All these thunderstorms rolling in.
Yeah.
Normally when... what the fuck was that?
Well,
Normally whenever the temperature changes, I get a...
I think it's where I slept all day too.
whenever the
It's just
temperature
like,
changes
I
for
was
me,
not feeling well.
I normally get like I normally get the cold. And I've always blamed it upon like going from hot to cold, cold to hot, that kind of thing. I only get the cold 2 times in the year.
never experienced it.
That's all I get. I only get the cold 2 times in the year.
When the temperature changes drastically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I get the cold the second time round, I'm just like, oh well, that must be coming in the summer. They're like, oh, it's not summer yet. I'm like, it fucking is. Like, I got the cold. It's coming in the summer.
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah, that's generally how I know.
Yeah, I like I said, I never experienced all this. I just.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You just got a really
That
good
would have
immune
been
system.
fucking amazing if I made that in.
This cancer.
So in any case, I'm sorry you got a headache.
Okay.
Well, we can just massage her head, just like.
I know, seriously.
This is my last round anyway, and then I'll probably just go lay down. Cause
You don't get migraines, do you?
Well,
I do.
Oh, you do?
I know my sister does also.
oh, I'm just gonna stay on my regular channel
I
today.
can't get out of where I'm at. Like, maybe I go this way a little bit.
I do believe.
It's not good. Like, there's no
what?
There's no way out of where I'm at.
I don't know where the fuck I'm meant to go. I won't lie to you. I think I'm meant to go this way.
Just get in the hole, man. Let's go.
I don't know where I'm meant
Get
to go.
in there.
I think I'm meant to go down. And I'm trying to
Go down, go down.
I'm on a different hole. I don't know
I'm
where
sure
I'm
you
meant to
are. Go down,
Anyways,
go
when
down.
a bee and a bird love each other.
At least I generally know which hole I should be going in, but
Alright, how do I end this quickly? Because I don't need to be here.
I know, I left so quick, I didn't know where I was.
Am I here? Oh, I'm close. I'm close. I'm close to the right hole.
There was too many holes tonight.
Go down, go down. I'm already spooked. Doesn't matter.
Oh man, I'm fucking absolutely shagged, but regardless.
Yeah, I don't drink, but one day I will.
It'll be funny if I manage to get
Don't
there
drink.
like just randomly, but
I don't drink. I dream about it.
Now, please just be done.
Just retire like I did.
So I was trying to.
Let's go. One more hole.
This has to be our worst hole yet.
One more
It
hole,
is
guys,
very
one more
hard.
hole. Let's go. One more
Right.
hole.
We're not normally as bad as like fucking 90 odds. I can't see.
There we go.
One more hole, guys. Just hit as hard as you can. And just go for it. It's the last hole.
There's no one with the ladies.
Pew.
No, just go for it. It's the last hole, guys. Come on.
No.
I went too much.
Even Kimono,
Oh,
she's going for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I went too much though.
I went too
Yeah,
much
yeah.
too.
Just go for it.
There's a wee va-va-voom at the end.
Yeah, I hate how it's raised right there.
Still too much.
Hole 18 finished. 1 over par.
We're talking
Kimono
tea.
can.
Talking
She
tea.
does it. She does it well. You know? She just gets it right in there. Dream, you have to just push, man. Push.
Oh my god, please.
Go split. This one's not too bad.
I can't bounce my way in.
Sorry, my inner
Nope.
coach
A
can't.
wild mind poo appears. Look at Minfu?
Oh yeah, mean
However
food,
you
whatever
say
you
that.
call it. Yeah.
Minfu.
Oh, I feel embarrassed.
Once you find the
There
hole
we
yet?
go.
Oh no.
Oh no, Flix!
It's not too hard. This one isn't. Don't go full yeet.
If the girl says it's not too hard, that means
Go up the orange slidey thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Come on, Splints, let's go.
But not full yeet.
Apparently not.
Right. I didn't go to the toilet. Back in a minute.
Very descriptive. I like how they say it. I went to the toilet.
Yeah.
Just don't dive into the toilet.
So you're handing back. You're gonna go back there. Yeah.
Come on, Splints. We're all holding your hands. Let's go.
I don't know if you're gonna make it.
They're gonna chop you. Ooh.
I ran out of time.
I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
Dang it.
Couldn't even find
You
the
get
hole
chopped.
envelope.
Well, Tifa, you're number 69 backwards.
I know. I'll drink
It's
that. I'll
opposite
drink to
day,
that one.
so. I know everybody's in the hole. Good job, guys.
Yep.
You know, next
Thank
game.
you guys for playing. Thank you for a good stream. Tell everybody good night in chat. About Pokemon too.
I'm still playing on my
Bye,
regular stream
chat.
today. I'm not gonna
Okay.
be
Alrighty.
my
Chat,
back up.
bye.
I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be on for. I'm just way too exhausted. So I'm like, I don't feel like doing my thing today. So.
Okay. See, I was gonna say I would raid you, but if you're getting off too, I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not yet. Not yet. I'm gonna play some. I'm gonna see if J3
Okay.
has any
I'm not
opening
getting
for Fortnite. It looks like he does.
Let's see.
So I'm gonna play some Fortnite with
Raid
J3.
Tifa.
Yeah.
I'm
Alright, bye.
Be back in a minute.
Bye. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I will be right back to myself.